All right, everybody, welcome to day 2 of the NA versus EU showdown. Here we have the second event for NA. Earlier, we had the EU finish up their second day. And for this, we're going to be having Group A versus Group C fighting it out. Again, in the second match, and for the rest of June, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, NA is going to be fighting it out through these group stages, through these three groups, kind of facing each other in a round robin style. And then we'll be heading into the playoffs. For the regular season, we have $1,000 of prizes split between North America and Europe. And then in the finals, we have an additional $4,000 prize pool, which is absolutely amazing. First place going to be walking away with $2,000, and then a pretty good kind of dollar amount for the remaining 4 teams. As always, we have our map list. We're going to be playing 5 matches, just like we did for EU. Same thing. So if you've been following along, just the same system for NA and EU again until we whittle it down to the final teams. 5 matches, 2 on Erangel, then 2 on Miramar, and then another one on Erangel. Dealing with a few throat things, so we're just bearing through that. But we're about to get started for game 1. It's myself, Blitz5, and Stento casting today. What's going on, Stento? Bring us into the first game.
Yeah, you guys know me. I stay excited about casting these events, and I'm very excited to see another side of North America today. We watched 16 teams from Group A and Group B, and now tonight, Group B is sitting out. Another 8 teams from Group C is rotating in. So we're going to see a little bit of new drops and some new players in here today. So a lot to focus on as Group C tries to gain their that ground up on the leaderboard for having sat out yesterday. So a bunch of familiar teams dropping in here. I'd like to point out Vigorous, Crazy Mob. We've seen these guys competing forever. RR, Rico's Roughnecks. So just a lot of familiar teams to me and you here as we are typically casting NA events. But it has certainly been a treat to get to know a lot of these EU teams as well. But 9 of these 24 teams are going to be moving on, and we're going to see a massive shift in the leaderboard today as some of these new teams will get started, get their journey started here today.
Yeah, I'd like to pull up the scoreboard for NA. If we load here we go. Console Killers going into today are in first place. Again, not all these teams are going to be playing in the event because we had Group A versus B yesterday. 7 Kings in second, Toxic in third, Affinity in fourth, Torch in fifth, Ascension Esports in sixth, Phase 9 in seventh, and 187Z in eighth. And we'll be trying to track all this stuff. It sometimes can get a little confusing because we're switching teams. We'll do our best to kind of explain everything to you guys as we go forward here. And the first circle has popped. Right in the center here with Military Base, we saw the same zone almost over and over again today on the right side, or even yesterday too, of Erangel. Then finally we're seeing some other variations here with the center. We ended EU with a crazy Military Base finish for the last game. If you guys didn't see that, you could always go back and check the VODs. We're also going to be uploading some of this content straight to the main gaming YouTube channel, so we'll try to share some links with that later on.
First thing catching my mind here, Blitz, as I look at the map, is Vigorous and AFI. I feel like they kind of have a long-standing, not necessarily hot drop scenario, but if I remember correctly, when the plane path allows it, one of them is going to go Hospital and one of them is going to go George Pool. They both land up in that area. So it's interesting to see that their alternate drops are both near each other again. I think we're going to see a lot of Vigorous versus AFI in this event here, and it looks like Omerta is pretty close to all of Vigorous here. The rest of the squad is kind of spread out to the east side there in the 6-pack and in a couple other compounds. But Omerta's having some shots at Ghosted, and the rest of the squad, Kidzo, Prodigy, and Stiffy, aren't really around. So it's a number of different ways that this could turn right now, but Omerta is kind of one-manning this until he kind of hops in a car and regroups.
Yeah, great memory there, Stento, because these teams have clashed a lot, especially, you're right, at the Georgia Pole crates area, like you mentioned, and they definitely seem to kind of follow each other around the edge for sure. AFI used to be a really serious team that played on the outskirts, and I feel like they've changed their strategy up a little bit.
Yeah, kind of back when they were Skyline, I think in maybe our first season of the main gaming league. I remember Skyline playing a lot of edge situations. and maybe more recently in the weekly series they've had some clashes. Vigorous in AFI, that is.
Yeah, we have one of our teams here. AFI is a little confusing because they have some of the in-game clan tags have been added to PUBG now. So some teams here are part of a clan, so they have an additional name in front of their name. That's one of the new features just added into the casual section of PUBG, but has translated over here. We're watching ABN. Not familiar with this clan name, but familiar with Karm and some of the players here.
Abnormal.
Team Abnormal.
Yeah, and they're rotating center pretty early here, perhaps making their way towards Potato Hill. They're actually turning a little bit down to the south side now. There are several teams in the area. AFI is pretty close. Crazy Mob, as we often see them coming out of farm. And there's no Team Toxic today, so they're also going to have full range of that snake compound, which is kind of where you're seeing them located right now. But DubHub saw them drop pretty hot a couple times yesterday up in the school area there. We know the 187Z squad lands in those apartments, so we saw some early game action between those teams. It looks like the DubHub are going to be relatively uncontested today, unless you head up north where Torch is kind of hanging out in Rosshawk.
So many great names here, players and groups, organizations in this match here today.
Yeah, it really feels like we've been doing this for a long time now, because just so many of these teams and players, we have like witnessed their journey through different leagues and events and having success and team switches around now that it's really developed quite a storyline for the NA console scene, and we've been here for a couple of years now doing these events and just kind of starting to bring them a little more regularly. But I'm watching on my screen here, Blitz. It looks like you're looking at AFI on the bottom side there.
And they were getting pretty close to AE.
Yeah, they got some good shots on the cars of AE, who have decided to kind of 180 it here. But AFI has a little bit of a split here, so no damage has been done yet, but a little bit of a hectic rotation here for a couple teams shooting at each other through cars. AE is going to land at one of the 6-pack compounds here, perhaps trying to jump on some roofs and get some angles, but they'll hang out for now right here. And it's going to be very interesting to see where this circle goes, Blitz, because I think the island is technically still in play if you have a look there.
Yeah, nope. Did anybody even land on the military base? I'm not sure if they did. Nobody's there now. Again, have to remind everybody about emergency pickups being here. If you haven't been watching the event so far, they are in ranked and in esports now. So big factor. We saw them getting used a lot earlier today in EU. I think AFI Light might have got a care package here. He smoked this out and got a FAMAS. I was asking to see this more previously, so it'd be awesome to see that in action for AFI Light.
Yeah, we mentioned a couple times yesterday, I think, that we don't really see a lot of FAMAS, get its way into the competitive side on the battleground. So I do love to see that grabbed first match here today, and hopefully Light can get into some scraps here for us and put it to work.
Yeah, of course you'd rather, no, I don't say rather, but of course you'd like to have 40 rounds in your mag. But I feel like the FAMAS is still so powerful and for me fun to use. So I think it's viable. And again, I just want to say apologies because we've been doing a lot of talking. So you hear my throat going in and out, doing my best here, but we've already got a lot of hours in, but we're still going to have a great time tonight in this gameplay.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit crowded in the farm area. WC, Crazy Mob, PIRR, CK, Abnormal, TDT, they're all really close in this center zone here. We've got a little bit of time, just about 2 minutes until this blue is going to touch up, and we'll see where phase 2 is shifting. So we might see a little bit of a lull here. Perhaps maybe a good time to check out a little bit of damage and kill leader stats, Blitz, if that's something we have the ability to do while there's a little bit of space between some of these teams.
Well, Crazy Mob is actually kind of making a push here onto PI, so it's trying to take a look. Bliv just got a knock onto Whizbang.
Yeah, right as you called it. Bliv opens it up with the M24 knock, headshot onto Whizbang, and the other 3 members of PI are going to be kind of hard pressed here. It's actually only 2 other members, excuse me. I'm not sure where their 4th has gone here. I know they started with him.
Why we kind of watch the crazy mob here, I am going to make sure that we have some of the stats here refreshed for everybody so we can take a look in a second after this fight. Problem's crazy heading into the smoke, gets taken out here by Whizbang. Immediate flush, Blitz trying to come in, takes out Whizbang on the trade, goes to the flush, now getting knocked himself here. Droppa isn't in the area. Almost getting dropped himself there, Stenta.
Yeah, it was kind of tough for me to make out exactly what was going on with all the smokes there, but some mutual carnage going down. Bliv is down. PI is down to just 2 players, and the rest of the crazy mob didn't really push at the same time, so Droppa's gonna have to kind of back off. And yeah, we kind of called it out, mutual damage. I just want to let you know, Blitz, I can't really see what you're looking at
Yeah, I
this
have
moment.
Just updating some of the stats there. We missed out on that. We got PI was in a tough spot there and survives with 2 members. This is Notorious and Nap Time. As we take a look at where the map has shifted, Circle going a little bit more north here.
There we go. Yeah, and I want to keep a close eye on CK. They had an amazing first day yesterday, and they already seem to be in a good spot. I've watched them kind of relocate a couple times in this first zone or two, trying to make sure that they stay in a very favorable position. So we're gonna have to keep a close eye on that squad. That's gonna be my team to watch today, Blitz. They're still or strong here. I would like to point out that a big player for them yesterday was Turbot. I don't see him in the lineup here yet right now today.
Yeah, I'm not seeing. I'm seeing Pixel. Always wondered how to pronounce this guy's name. Is it Jaeger? I'm not sure.
Jaeger. I think Jaeger.
Jaeger's here. Coma. As I said, the staple of this team, I feel like, was always Coma and Bazaar. And then Pixel seems like potentially a new pickup. Not 100% sure on that. And Turbot, you're right, was killing it yesterday. So that was a big factor for their game. So yeah, we'll see how they could play without him.
I wonder if that's just an absence, or if he was brought in as a sub and was just kind of performing. Because again, I haven't seen Turbot play with CK for very long. I know he was with another team called FSG, 5-Star Generals, but to see him make that switch and just instantly be performing for CK was very interesting yesterday. So I'm honestly surprised to see him not in the lineup, just for how well he did yesterday, regardless.
For sure, it could be like a scheduling thing, right? I mean, who knows? I know,
Yeah, who knows?
There is. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think teams have a 6-man roster, and then obviously field 4 per event or per game.
Yeah, well, yeah, and we've kind of let a couple teams have a little bit more flexibility just because of some tough scheduling for some people. But yeah,
I like that. I think that's fair, right? Why not? I mean, as long as you have people registered
yeah,
in.
it's all about keeping the structural integrity of the game at, full teams. Because if there's a bunch of random teams in there with 2 and 3, it just it ruins the feel of the game. So it's all about just making it work for these players. We don't really want to. We want to keep our rules nice and strict and uphold them, but every now and then you gotta make sure that you can just make it work for these guys.
Yeah, Winner Circle, did they just? I'm not sure how they showed up here. If they parachuted on Dubhub or not. I was honestly expecting and listening to you, and Winner Circle pulls up. 3 members of Dubhub knocked. One of them has already been eliminated. Jolly got taken out by Torch OH there, and then the immediate flush. Trying to see where the last Dubhub member, and he's actually at the apartment, Stento. So he's not going to be able to do anything, just cutting his losses. Not even worried about it right now. So Winner Circle is going to pick up those kills. And crazy landing here. I think they was on the parachute because I don't see a vehicle nearby. This is such a weird area, in my opinion, that Dubhub was holding. I just don't know why teams go there at that stage of the game, Stento. We saw a team in Europe stop there early on and get eliminated as well. I mean, I know these guys have different strategies and reasons for what they're doing, but that's just never been a spot that I'd like to be in. Obviously, I'm not a competitive level player here, but there's just no cover there and not really a great exit point. And meanwhile, we're going to see some fighting here happening between RR and MG. MG actually needs to move in, so I'm going to tap into their perspective. Looks like they have some different players from yesterday. That Apple is in.
And they actually get a third party, a little bit of aid by Bizarre long range. And then Bad Apple takes down a second one. So unfortunately for our while they were trying to hold out MG here, the third party started things off here, and MG with a nice knock coming out of the AR of Bad Apple. So now it's really just up to Tragic End here, as his third teammate Wax has been taken down from another member of CK. So a timely push by CK to really spoil this gatekeep for RR. And now MG really looks like they're going to kind of head down the south side against Blue, as they know CK is kind of reinforcing the gatekeep that RR had on them here.
Yeah, what a frustrating position to try and gatekeep and then get gatekept yourself. Something that I've been trying to be more aware of lately when you're playing in a ranked setting like this is the potential for that to happen, because the meta is always evolving and people are so fast to gatekeep that what once was a great decision to gatekeep a certain area now becomes a bad decision. So you kind of have to be like that next level, thinking next, a couple steps ahead, I suppose.
Yeah, another airlift has been taken. Ascension Esports are dropping directly onto Potato Hill right now, Blitz.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of get into
really
their perspective
there.
just to see, because no one is here. They are
Yeah,
getting
they're
shot.
gonna be fine over here.
Yeah, they're gonna take this for free right in the center of zone, Stento.
Yeah, and in the meantime, on your kill feed, you notice that Jaeger helped wipe the rest of that PI squad. So they're gonna be our first team to drop here. In this day 2 game 1 scenario. Still 15 teams up though, with 51 players, as we just crossed the 15-minute mark.
I feel like in comp play we so often see the circle go to around Potato Hill here, right in the center.
Yeah, I can't believe AE just lifted in, and they are quite literally in the center of zone. Trying to figure out where MG landed at that compound on the top right of your map there. So a little bit of space in between some of these teams right now. We'll wait and pay good attention to the map and kill feed, figure out where this is going to jump off. But while we do have a little bit of a lull, I want to welcome everybody once again to the Main Gaming NA versus EU Showdown. I'm one of your hosts, Stento, obviously here with Blitz5, my good friend and teammate. And it's just been an amazing start to the event throughout the course of this Monday and Tuesday, the first 2 days of our event here. And this is the first time some of these North American teams are seeing the battlefield, as we are debuting our Group A versus Group C matchup today. So this is all of Group C's first match that we are tuning into. And once again, Circle has just popped, and it pulled down a little bit to the south. So everyone hanging out on the north side of zone is going to need to get ready and figure out that rotation. And there's quite a few teams up there, Blitz, right now. So I think personally, if I was in any of these locations, I'd want to be where AE is right now, dropped onto Potato Hill in a probably really good spot to pick up some rotation kills here, as all of these northern teams try to find their way into zone.
Yeah, and a second team, even a third team, can take this left side of Potato Hill. You have this small compound, which a team can sometimes hold. It's not a compound, but like the little shack there. Usually another team can hold this other part of Potato Hill. Yeah, so there's definitely room there. GE might go up there to cover it. We also have Vigorous is going to probably be on foot, making their way up that way as well. RR, the last two members, are trying to make it up Potato Hill. They're getting tagged up like crazy. I think they had to ditch the vehicle here, almost about to blow up. MG is pushed out of the compound now. It looks like they might run into CK.
They have a team rotating right towards them. The Toxic Lady Lasers are pushing directly into Main Gaming right now, and CK is right on the other side. We're going to see a big sandwich here. San Anto on the pull-up is going to take down Ernst. So a nice drive-by by the Lady Lasers here, but Pull is going to drop Cerny out the car. So it's just so much carnage for so many teams here, and CK seems to be the biggest benefactor of that. I think Main Gaming is going to try to figure out a way to get Ernster up here, as they also try to deal with the CK push here. Jammy Jam's doing all she can on the other side, as she was forced into a spin out pull-up situation. She drops Pixel, so this might throw a little bit into the wrench of the console killers push. They wanted to deal with TLL quickly here, Blitz, but now they have to pay a little bit more attention to Jams here on this side, and it's going to give Main Gaming a little bit of time to get regrouped and make this push here. So they do throw a nice nade. That's Bizarre with a couple of kills. with the frags, and Main Gaming is trying to get Ernster up here. I don't think that revive is going to happen as Blue is moving a little bit too quickly. CK is going to have to get that revive off of their own, and they do just that. So back to a 4-man for CK. Main Gaming is going to push on with a 3-man, and a decent fight out of a really tough rotation by the Toxic Lady Lasers there, picking up a knock onto CK, but it was just all Jams could do in a little bit of a 1v4 situation there.
I can't believe that just played out the way it did. It just seemed like Main Gaming was going to get completely screwed there, and TL was dead, and then they stayed alive. Bizarre with the nade finished them off, and then they're back to 4 strong here. CK already has 9 kills to their name. I think Acid Burn just went down there. Now they're with this, they're going to have time to try to surround. No, Acid Burn's still up, so Traxy's down. They're going to have time to surround Acid Burn. The farther she goes north, she's just going to run into other teams here, including SSG. So unfortunate
Blitz,
situation.
Take a look to your northwest side of your map. I see Vigorous is pushing on to Winner's Circle. It is happening a little bit quickly here.
Yeah, we just caught Prodigy catching somebody there. I guess someone else got the kill. Looked like he
knocks
did
on both sides. It's down to just Bougie here, who is causing issues for this squad. He's down super weak here. Prod's going to need to land those shots, but a little bit of a prone snap from Bougie is going to take him out of sight here. Vigorous is going to have a little bit of work to do to get back up to 4 strong here. And Bougie really, again, lost the rest of his squad here, but it is playing very hard to get here for the rest of Vigorous. It might actually be a decent time as we watch them progress through to keep an eye on them for listening.
Absolutely here. Bougie going for the revive. It took a little while because he had to back up pretty far there. Now Vigorous, I think, is 4 strong again.
And there you go on your kill feed. Acid Burn is going to go out in 11th place. That's Main Gaming gone. And a knock on to CK from this ABN team. So why don't we get over there, Blitz? This is our first place team, so I love to see what's going on with them. And it looks like I didn't really catch the beginning of this action, but it's almost down to just Jaeger, I think, here. Caught between a rock and a hard place. SSG and ABN on both sides of them.
Yeah, ABN is just all bunched up here together. Same with SSG. We're good. Oh, SSG just took out Jaeger there. Is that Soup? I didn't even know he was in here. This is kind of a throwback with Soup and Jalapeno.
Yeah, absolutely. These are some OGs on this team. I am Superman, or as most people know him by his nickname, Soup. I think they rebranded to SSG from something else recently. But this is their first game of this tournament, so we'll have to keep a close eye on them. They picked up 4 kills, and we haven't really heard much from them this round besides that quick kill onto Jaeger there. So working their way up the northeast side of zone. They're going to have Ascension Esports eventually waiting for them.
Yeah, Ascension here, putting some shots onto Vigorous. This is going to be a big fight for all 3 teams. This could be a good time to potentially listen in on Vigorous. I think I'm going to pop in here so we can see they're going to have to do a big push here.
Yeah, let's get in there.
Knock top hill, knock top hill.
3 knocked on them. That's 3 knocked on them. That's 3 knocked on them.
Let's get up for nades. I just want to nade and then regroup. I got 1 nade going middle
knocked
street.
his own on left.
I'm stunning.
Play right with me. Play right with me on
I am. Let me switch. That's one dead. That's one dead.
TDT's fresh. TDT's fresh.
No, TDT's not with us. TDT's not with us.
No, they are. 80.
I'm stunning right side smoke. I'm stunning right side smoke. WC full dead, I think.
Shanks is up still. Shank's still up.
Hurt.
No,
Play forward.
Plant his zone.
I just got shot.
He's on the rock, 1 shot. He might have got shot in the back.
Right.
Blue line, left.
Shank's dead.
Shank's dead. We're good.
Full dead.
Regroup. We're good.
I have no more
We still have this shot.
I'm watching right. There's people garage building, but that's really it.
There's only 14 up, and there's 2 teams below us for sure. We're good.
Looking for loot real quick.
In the compound on the shack.
I still got your flash hider, kid.
I'm good. Alright, that's good. Alright.
They're fighting in garage.
Heard. I have no cheek pad.
BC 1 knocked.
I can't see.
All right, hopping back, Stento, because now they have a little bit of a time because they're all the way up on this hill before anything gets too hectic. They're probably going to be just trying to pick people off at this point. Again, another just great comms. Nothing too crazy there, but just the calmness of the teams together. And I really don't know what to say. It's just funny how they move so many of these teams just move as a unit. You know, it's like playing with your best friends.
Vigorous
People
has been playing together for a while,
Yes.
and Ghosted, I believe, is their IGL in this situation. If Noxie isn't present, maybe even if Noxie is present, and she's usually got full control of what's going on around her, full control of the comms. She's actually going into blue to grab a little bit of loot right now, but a massive battle is breaking out at this garage house, ladies and gentlemen, and that's going to be TDT going down to AFI. They had the compound, but AFI was able to push in and actually get the upper hand on that fight, so they're going to be able to get back to 3 strong there. AFI has 4 kills total. They do lose Omerta on that push, but very quickly we're down to our final 4 teams here, Blitz.
Yeah, and Vigorous, again, you said they've been playing together so long. It's just when you play with people for that amount of time, you know exactly what they're doing. It just makes it another level. But wow, crazy knock for Prodigy onto Zally there. Almost seemed like he got one shot from the SLR there. But wow. I will say that Vigorous knew where everybody was. They're like, there's 2 teams below us. We're safe after getting those knocks. They knew TDT was down there below. So they definitely have a lot of information, which information is kind of key in these situations. So take a look at the Crazy Mob drop a Crazy just sitting in the shed center. ABN is kind of flexing out here, 2-2 split, which could be pretty beneficial. This could end up hurting Vigorous, who I was going to say was in a pretty strong position there.
Yeah, this is an insane zone. Slowly, as you can see, the hard cover is getting circled out on your map there. And I've pulled my camera like so far up in the air up against blue, and I'm just kind of watching from above. Team 18, that's going to be Abnormal and Vigorous, have like a 2-2 split each, and they've got a really good strongholds on each side of the zone here. And I think it's going to be kind of all eyes on Droppa and AFI as they kind of have to force their way up the hill here with that circle. And yeah, just as I kind of expected, AFI is going to have to leave that compound. And I think, again, Vigorous and maybe even ABN are going to have some good angles on all of this. But for now, it's just a few moments now, about 45 seconds until this begins to move. And Vigorous is beginning to kind of work their way down the hill using the smokes, using the tree cover. They just need to be careful because it's a 4-man for this ABN team that are starting to kind of work their way up the hill here and get some eyes onto Vigorous here. But Vigorous keeping a close eye themselves right back in the direction of that ABN squad. It's just going to be a matter of trying to keep up here. There's going to be a situation where Vigorous might get pinched here by this AFI and ABN squad, but Prodigy doing what he does with that SLR long range, got a little bit of a knock on Zaloti long range, told Tony it's your turn this time, pal.
Yeah, great DMR shots. We just saw some amazing peeking from Kidzo there. It's just so good. And I got to see him play in person in one of the lands, and not a lot of cover here though, Stento. You just got trees and rocks, and as they go down this hill, I'm kind of thinking that ABN might have an advantage if Vigorous and AFI start fighting a lot. But then again, Prodigy's kind of making a big push here to the left. Kind of curious to see if this pays off for him or if he gets caught out. AFI is actually sending Zality here across.
All 3 of them.
All three of them in the car. Or two of them.
And in the
two
meantime,
of them, they left Hobie.
Yeah, and in the meantime, ABN has pushed up the hill to the Harry Potter Tower, and then they've got Tony and Carm kind of hanging out on the north side hill. So a lot of teams readjusting here. That's a good send there from AFI, but they just had no idea that Droppa Crazy is in this location hanging out. It looked like a shack, but it's actually a big old rock.
I thought that was the shack there.
He's just hanging out on the backside of a big old rock there. And AFI Light and Zaloti are actually in a decent spot here with the car that they got. And Zaloti's going to take down Droppa from long range there. And now it's going to be a big scrap long range again from ABN and Vig. And that's Prodigy going down to Carm's AUG there to start it off. And Ghosted is taking some pretty bad damage herself. And Tony with the AR spray takes her down. So it's up to just Stiffy and Kidzo up here on the side of the hill.
Yeah, this is what I was worried about for Vigorous. Once they had to move in a little bit, they lose all of those rocks that they had. And with the Wizard Tower and a little bit of the terrain differential, ABN here has just such a better spot.
Some nice 4x spray down onto Kidzo to start that. Isn't able to actually confirm the kill here. Getting the angles from the Harry Potter is Psycho there. He's already got 2 kills. 6 total already for Abnormal, and it looks like they're in full control of this, having brought the final remaining teams down, both down to a couple of duos. ABN's got a really strong 4-man split here.
Yeah, this Wizard Tower spot is just such a pain for both teams here, for AFI and for Vigorous. Boat and Psycho were in there. I'm not sure if Psycho has left now. Karm and teammate here playing pretty smart, not going too far right, because if you try to maneuver too far right, you're definitely going to give yourself up to potentially getting shot there. Plenty of time. We're phase 8. They have a lot of the zone here on their side. They just need to play smart and not take... Really, I don't even know if getting knocked here would completely kill them, but obviously...
Yeah, you just got to be careful not to spread yourself too thin. It's 2 different duos out there. You got to make sure that you're taking those fights, you know, kind of as a unit rather than trying to fight 2 different fights at the same time, I think is all they really need to be careful about. They've got a little bit of zone favor. If you look at your mini map there, they're kind of the most in zone. Kidzo and Stiffy now kind of staking a little bit better claim. You love to see the proactiveness from Kidzo to just kind of get into a good spot here to give himself a chance. We know he can shoot, so he just needs to be into a good spot. He might have spotted Karm on the left side here, and oh, Karm takes him down with a mini there. I thought Kidzo might have gotten a nice laser beam there, but Stiffy backs him up, does take Karm down with the SLR. This might give a little bit of an opening for AFI to,
now's the time for them to push
pushing up the hill. They are doing it, Blitz. Look at that.
They are heading in now. I'd like to see some smokes, but I think they're out of lethal. They're out of
We wanted
throwables.
the FAMAS Blitz.
2 lethals from Zality here. I'd like to see him get one in the Wizard Tower preemptively. I'm not sure why he hasn't thrown one yet. Gonna stick to the gun, gets the knock, then spots a team right in front of him here. He goes down. Got kind of stuck on the catwalk.
Yeah, the stairs didn't do him any favor there, and we've been begging for the FAMAS to get put to work here.
We only see
Light
one
does get a knock with it, but yeah, it's too many members for Abnormal. We're just trying to figure out exactly what can Stiffy say about these knocks. Is he gonna have timely push? Vigorous already with 4 kills here in a 2nd place. What can Stiffy bring to the table as a solo here?
Couple members are weak, but he's out of lethals, cracked vest, Stento, so this would be a miracle for them.
He moves
Does
up
good
into
damage
a good spot.
though.
A quick knock.
Nice knock there, and actually Psycho's not going to get back up, so it's just 1v2, and Tony didn't heal, so that's an easy kill, but then the trade there to finish him off.
The Stiff Man was trying to get weird for us in the first game of the night, but it's just a final little 2v1 there, and he did win that 1v1 on the left, but it was Boat with a little bit of a well-timed save there, I'm going to call it, for ABN. But Abnormal picking up the 10-kill chicken dinner, 4 kills in a 2nd place for Vigorous, and rounding out our top 3 in match 1 of the evening is AFI with 5 kills there, Blitz.
Very nice. GG's to everybody. We're going to head to the camera here and say hello to everybody. Welcome in everybody viewing the NA portion of the event that we're going to be hosting over the next month. Again, we finished up EU early today. A lot of great games so far. We finally finished 10 full games for EU. This was our 6th game of NA, but first of tonight, first out of 5. And first thing I want to mention there is that push from, what was it? Was it Vigorous or AFI there? That last push with the FAMAS, I was really surprised they didn't get that throwable in the Wizard Tower, Sento. And then I think it was Zality got caught on the catwalk when there's 2 people lined up right in front of him that he might have been able to take out, but obviously didn't know the situation there, and almost Stiffy making a big play. That could have completely changed there, but ABN held him off.
Yeah, I think for me it was a great play for Stiffy to get into that location where he was. He had no vest and needed to win a 3v1 and almost did it for us there. But it was a well-timed I don't know. It's like it wasn't really a push. It was just a good job by ABN to kind of keep 4 strong up there as they dealt with Vigorous pushing down the hill and a couple of teams on the south side. They did a really good job just staying 4 deep. They moved to the Harry Potter Tower when they needed to. And that really kind of preventing Vigorous from moving into any sort of useful cover. And I guess kind of that was kind of the rotation of the game there to just get into that location, and that kind of secured them the win. So big GGs to both Vigorous and AFI, but first chicken of the day is going to Abnormal. We're going to be right back here on Erangel in just a few moments, ladies and gentlemen. The lobby is already up and filling, and we'll see you guys in just a few moments.
just kind of follow one of the teams and pick one. It makes it a lot more fun to view. And also on top of that, what's fun for the players is there's a lot of money on the line for the regular season. We have $1,000 in prizes, and then also for finals, an additional $4,000 once the EU and NA teams group up together. We're going to have 8 teams from EU and 9 teams from NA because we have a couple extra teams for NA. And again, here's the map list. We're getting ready to drop into our second Erangel of the day. I'm Blitz5 here with my buddy and co-host Stento. First plane path going from Georgia Pole to Lipovka.
Yeah, it's a northern plane path here. A lot of the military base island and some of the southern drop spots going to be kind of out of range and off limits for some of these teams here. We'll keep an eye out for hot drops as we always do, as a drop like this could restrict some of the team's typical dropping spots. So keeping a close eye on our map here, Blitz, as these teams drop in. We'll keep a close eye on the scoreboard once the first match of the day updates in there. But it's important to note that when you are looking at the NA scoreboard, that some teams are going to have played more games than others, as we have 3 groups that are playing over the course of the 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but on each match day, only 2 groups play. So one group sits each night. So until the end of the week, each week, Wednesday, matches are going to be a little bit uneven. So that scoreboard is more important to kind of just accumulate your total and by the end of the season be at the top rather than worry about it too much early on here, Blitz.
Yeah, great point there. People have to take into consideration that not everybody's playing. Watching a few teams drop, some members of Main Gaming are still parachuting in, it looks like. For some reason, I can't see them. They're just above me here. I guess they're going to be heading a little further. PI kind of spread out, taking Gaka in the bottom of Chopsticks there.
This is one of my favorite zones, Blitz, and it's because of this river in the center zone. We know it's going to shift away from that eventually in phase 4, but usually we see that river kind of hold center zone, and it's such a difficult obstacle for these teams to try to get across it late in game. So I love the spot that we're seeing Ascension Esports in here, mainly T-Bug. I think that's kind of the most powerful compound in this area with those 3 2-story buildings with the walls and everything. It's a great spot to get early on, kind of just in hope for some circle favor. So I think T-Bug is going to hang on to that spot and probably ask the rest of his team to kind of come over to him. There isn't too many people in the area on the north side of them. A couple teams are hanging out just south of Severny. It's going to be the Toxic Lady Lasers, and Torch is kind of getting into a scrap here, Blitz. I think we need to get over there.
Just noticed this here. We have Torch pulling up right on the 2 members. I'm going to pull in the TLL because they're defending here. This is San Anto.
Cerny's going to open it up with the Toxic Lady Lasers here.
San Anto got caught going for the thirst. They got caught off guard there.
I was looking at now Lex trying to get some shots on the rest of the team pulling up here. I think we have a little bit of a 2-on-2 situation now. Thirsts are coming out on both teams.
Flanking left, Jams with her here. Moving as a unit together, which you'd like to see. This is strong. Jams going for the
Jams
revive.
Just got the hands on for the res as Lex is kind of watching. 2 of the members from Torch have been thirsted out, and 1 for the Lady Lasers. So a crazy early game battle here, and Lex is gonna take down Tick with a nice little flick situation there. Tick kind of had the drop there, but Lex came to a nice sharp stop and dropped nothing but AK headshots there. And Precision has got a tall task here. He's got 3 legitimate Lady Lasers on him here. He's gonna try a kind of nade to prevent the push here and resort to the back bathroom here, Blitz. But if this push is done right by the ladies, it's gonna work out for them, and they do get a nice squad wipe on this Torch squad. So 4 quick kills going out to the ladies.
Yeah, there. He tried to hop out the window after that underhand nade, but the window was blocked
by the car, right?
By the car, so they got stuck there in an unfortunate situation. I randomly just
Toxic Lady Laser hype there. A great little win for the ladies to kind of get their day rolling there.
Oh, absolutely. And we have Vigorous Ghosted kind of pulling through here. I don't think they're going to be stopping because the circle is further west. We have PI and ABN a little bit close together here. Some teams kind of situated on the south side of the river, which Stento was talking about. Bizarre.
Let's check out TK right now. They might rotate by Jalapeno. I'm not sure if
now. He might be
really
hiding
gonna
right
have
now,
an
right?
angle. Yeah, he's kind of laying low, which might be a good decision. I'm not sure exactly where the rest of SSG is. I think they're far down, all the way over in Leboka. Yeah, so Jalapeno's electing not to shoot here. TK is always a team we're going to be keeping our eye on moving forward, as they are our first place team at this moment. So Pixel's kind of leading the way here. I wonder if he's their IGL. I think it's Bizarre, but it'd be interesting to get some of these players in for some interviews later on in the season and kind of learn more about their roles for their squad. But Vigorous is pulled up, goes to the there, but a little bit of a 2-1-1. Sippy isn't able to get the trade quick enough, but he does get it eventually, Blitz.
Pixel got Stiffy down to just a few health points here, and he's by himself, so he's on the run. But Coma and Pixel are chasing after him. Coma very close here. Pixel might have found a good tree to hide at because of this ridge. Coma kind of lost him. Now he just spotted him. Not going to be able to get that first aid up. Helmet goes flying. Again, one of the new features featured in the 2023 kind of update series for PUBG. These helmets now. I've seen that a few times in the competition, seeing that helmet just go flying off some of the enemy players. Again, Stento, we talked about this in the weekly series. Vigorous doing these rotations not together and then losing players, and they were doing so well last match. We always say they're one of the top teams when they're together, especially in that end game situation, but so often they're losing players early on, and that's kind of another incident there of that happening.
Yeah, we've definitely talked about that over the course of the main gaming weekly series. In losing a member or two early on was something we've seen a lot from them. So hopefully they regroup here and kind of get it back going. It's only their second match of the tournament so far, as they weren't involved at all yesterday. And just kind of unfortunate that CK pulled up on the 2-man there. And I think there was a different scenario where Ghosted and Stiffy kind of get both of those knocks, and then they have a 2-on-2, and it's a much different fight. But it took a little bit too long to get the first knock onto Bizarre, I think. And then unfortunately a good aggressive push by Coma and Pixel just took down Stiffy when he was kind of hanging out in the grass there. But taking a look at your map, lots of teams already into good position, kind of around that river, as we talked about, in the center of zone, and a lot of teams hanging out on the kind of the northeast side, east side of zone, Blitz.
Yeah, I'm just taking a quick look at Winter Circle. Again, this is just a consistent visual bug. Shows them all in the car together, but they're actually taking the emergency pickup, so we will see them landing somewhere else. It's just hilarious to see this spectator view of everybody just
I thought it was a new emote. I thought K7 was trolling with a new emote yesterday, the first time I saw that, but that is just so funny.
Yeah, it's super. If you watch them, one player goes away one at a time until they all disappear. But eventually they'll be popping up on our screen again. That is the emergency pickup. If you're wondering what's going on, what crazy glitch is there in PUBG, not a glitch, just a spectator bug that a team is using the emergency pickup to fly into somewhere in the map, which is now available in ranked in esports mode. Since I'm surprised nobody's taking these spots here on where I'm kind of spectating right now. This is a great ridge to hold. Cross this bridge. Also, this compound here, a lot of times teams do a 2-2 split, this ridge with that compound. Also, this compound with this ridge, another great spot to hold in the circle. Again, also the airplane, I mean, the down airplane, a little early for anybody to go there, but to me, so many of the circles go that direction. You think a team would want to go there. A few teams are kind of waiting south in case the circle comes back to the Mount Everest side, which is definitely a possibility. AFI still kind of holding in Georgia Pole, just waiting on. But the fact that nobody here is center is a little confusing to me. So many of these teams, which could really use a center spot, like DubHub has had trouble kind of staying to the end, could really kind of maybe use getting a little bit center. Maybe they think somebody's already there. Who knows?
Yeah, I honestly, a lot of these teams do know each other. So I think it's pretty well known that AFI is going to be in this George Pool area and likely would extend out to that ridge that you were talking about. So they haven't exactly done that yet. They're kind of hanging out in the city of George Pool, not even in the crates, hanging out by the bridge, kind of seeing what this first circle is going to do. We're seeing a lot of shots break out. If you do take a look at your map, DubHub is very close to SSG. And a couple teams, the Crazy Mob, rotating, taking shots from both Toxic Lady Lasers and RR right now. Looks like the Crazy Mob gonna both kind of go separate ways here to kind of prioritize self-preservation here.
In Stento, I guess the players knew something that we didn't, because everybody was kind of hanging to like the northeast side here, and the circle just went northeast. So maybe people just had a feeling there that the circle was going that direction. So now CK and Dubhub are actually safe where they're at. I mean, the plane spot here is still center, and all the places I mentioned are actually still good places to hold. GE Red Eyes moving across the bridge. Maybe they'll take one of those spots. TDT is also moving in. Would love to see them get into a good spot as well.
Yeah, I honestly, I just, as you said, I didn't really expect such a drastic shift up north, but now that plane crash we were discussing as well as shooting range are kind of centered up. Not too many teams on the south side of all of this this river that extends from George Pool. It's Main Gaming. It's our winners from last round, Abnormal, PI, and then AFI. So it's really only 3-4 teams on this side, and there isn't much resistance on the bridge, as we know AE has been kind of hanging at that compound that we discussed super early on.
Stento ABN is kind of heading towards the bridge that AFI is holding, so I'm going to tap into their perspective. Again, the winners from game 1 for tonight's NA event. Karm here's got the ace 4 times. Not a gun I want to be rocking out of the car, but to each their own.
This is so interesting because I thought AFI would have moved to a different position, but they must just have so much experience with teams rotating in these type of zones that they figured someone was going to come this way. Tony in the first car with Karm got through. Unfortunate for Psycho there, though. Him and Boat not with the same fortune. And honestly, I was surprised even one car got through. AFI usually is not going to let that happen, but sometimes shooting onto a road from a building top like that isn't necessarily as easy as being on the ground, kind of like head height with that. So I think that might have made it been a little bit tougher for them to land some of those shots as the first car just went cruising through. And now Boat is in one of these farm buildings over here, hanging on as a solo. And I think AFI knows he's over here, is kind of on the search.
Yeah, on top of this, Main Gaming is coming through. FNX was about to take this bridge. Traxy's actually headed this way. Looks like Omerta spotted Boat, ran out of ammo, is going to pull out the MK. Can he get this knock? He does. These gunshots should probably alert Main Gaming what's going on here, but it looks like they're continuing to go towards the bridge. This is one of those situations where it's only phase 2, Stento, but AFI could get stuck in the blue here. It's going to take them a little while to get ready through get in the car. Traxy trying to get through, gets knocked out. I'm really surprised they didn't hear those gunshots and kind of cancel going this direction, Stento. Now FNX has stopped and is considering what to do. The rest of Main Gaming really far behind. Not sure what happened to them on this kind of slow rotation in.
FNX actually picked up a knock there onto light for AFI. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get the thirst, though, because some good cover shots from Hobe. He does actually pick up that kill. So trades going out here from MG onto AFI after several members of our winners from the first round, ABN, Abnormal, got taken out in the same location. So FNX.
Yeah, a bit of a redemption there at least, right?
Yeah.
Redemption point. That makes it feel a little bit better for losing out on a team member there. Traxy kind of sacrificing himself going over the bridge. Circle goes up north here. This is an interesting circle. I really enjoy these stunts. I don't know about yourself, but I love these circles kind of outside of shooting range. Vigorous is in such a good spot here. One of my favorite compounds to hold early on. Not easy to hold with 2 players, though. Easy to crash because it is kind of like a bigger, smaller compound, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah, this is a really great circle. If you do take a quick look at your map, Blitz, there's several teams in motion. SSG and more importantly, CK, our first place team, is about to crash directly onto Crazy Mob. Coma is going to get taken down here. Had no idea Slumpto was waiting for him in the shack. And Jaeger did a little bit of a drive-by roll-up situation. His car has stopped. So now they're going to take this fight, I think.
I'm going to try to get to Crazy because he's got, Slumpto, excuse me, he had the micro.
A good pull-up by Jaeger and Bazaar. Make it a 1-1 trade situation here. Both Coma and Slumpto going down for their teams respectively. The rest of Crazy Mob is now pushing the shack with grenades. It's going to be an absolute dime from Droppa that takes down the final 2 members. of Console Killers, our first place team, going out in 15th place here. So a little bit of time for people to gain some ground here, and the rest of Crazy Mob kind of hanging out in the smokes here, trying to maintain. They did lose Slumpto, but they are going to pick up 3 quick kills onto CK.
That's pretty big. If my memory serves me correct, I think Console Killers won 2 games yesterday, Stento, and they had a pretty big lead at a certain point. Again, not all the teams are playing today.
Yeah, big sigh of relief from everyone watching, both in the kill feed and our 8 teams watching from home, trying to see what's going on with the kill feed. Everyone wants Console Killers to kind of just relax up top, and there they go, out in 15th place. So you're probably seeing a lot of silent fist bumps and what else do people do in their houses alone.
We're seeing some fighting here from RR. I just pulled up to see them get eliminated here from SSG. There's also some third-party shots coming in. Jalapeno's down. PI was shooting from the compound. It's just Notorious left, I think. Hots is trying to get a smoke here to get Gamer back up. Jalapeno getting rezzed right now by Soup. We'll tap into Notorious's perspective. He's hiding in this smoke. Gonna try to move to the compound for third-party cover. Gets tagged from behind, though, from Prodigy on Vig there for 55. Circle just shifted south here. TDT's getting awfully close to AE. I might tap in over here because there's only 1 player left for PI.
Yeah, and AE actually just got a knock onto AFI. Omerta has been taken down, so they know the other members for Affinity are somewhere in blue, and they're kind of running around trying to figure out exactly where, but they're also concerned with some grenades up top. That's T-Bug that actually takes down the first member of TDT who was pushing up here. It's up to Game Boy, Taylor, and Falazai to do something. A nade back from Taylor is going to make it a 3v3 now, Blitz. Both teams are going to be looking to get a revive, and that's another nade from Watches taking down Game Boy, and the third party has come out from the dub hub on the side of this battle now, so it has turned into a 3-4, maybe even 5-team battle when it all gets said and done. But now I've kind of turned my focus down to the south side here, Blitz. AFI has found their way into zone. They were kind of fully gate kept almost, and now they kind of picked off one of the dub hub.
The wrong way here for a second. We're right below. AFI's right below me here. Lost track of them for a second. Kind of zoomed out here to show everybody. Dub hub, TDT, Taylor running away. 4-man strong for AE. They got all the reses up. Dub hub spotted Taylor now, trying to take him out as he runs through the plane path there. The down plane. Now Dub hub's taking over this spot, doing some damage to AEs. They might get pinched here between AFI and Dub hub. Dub hub with only 3 kills here.
Honestly, AE's been doing a pretty good job to stay 4 deep here. They fought off TDT entirely, as well as the third parties from AFI and the Dub Hub. I believe it was AFI that took down one of the members of the Dub Hub, so it's a duo versus a 4-man of AE and the 3-man for the Dub Hub, who are now moved into the plane crash up there. So,
and Main Gaming was kind of making their way in here as well. I'm going to flip over to T-Bug because they spotted AFI. They're trying to smoke themselves and head towards AFI. Maybe get them out first before trying to turn around for Dub Hub. Tough task, though. Because Main Gaming just pulled up to the other side. This might be where AE starts to fall. 2 members down. Rain trying to go for a first aid.
Very strong here, Blitz.
AFI is holding. They're actually fighting. Dub Hub's kind of flanking to the right here. Cheech is flanking. Gets hit from Wabaku.
There was just too many angles here. AE just found themselves getting third-partied after third-partied after third-partied. And somehow they're going to get outlasted by AFI, who they initially had in a gatekeep on this situation. But Zalodi long range is going to actually help out AE temporarily and take down Dilla. So now it's 2 members of the Dub Hub kind of a little bit too far away to have too much of an impact here. And Hobie with a long range nade takes on the final member of AE there. So some impressive work from the 2 members of AFI. Hobie and Zalodi getting the job done on the edge of zone here. They know the Dub Hub is close by because Zalodi just knocked Dilla up the hill. So they're looking for that. It's actually going to get thirsted out by one of the toxic lady lasers. That's San Anto picking up another kill for team 2. And now Zalodi is kind of wrapped back towards Hobie. He heard that Thirst come out and is trying to figure out where the dub hub is, where the toxic lady lasers are. And again, as you mentioned, Main Gaming has pulled up kind of close by as well. So all of these teams near this plane crash got to find their way to zone here. And they're going to have a couple teams, mainly the Crazy Mob, waiting for them center zone.
Yeah, there's so many teams on the outside of this zone. I'm watching GE. I thought they were going to push on Winter Circle here because we had a trade go back and forth, but it looks like they're kind of backing off for right now. Now AFI is getting very close to Main Gaming, so we're going to keep flipping around, trying to catch all the action for you guys because a lot of good fighting going on, a lot of good shots here. Ernst are getting great shots on Zality here. And Hobie, they've already been kind of fragging out. Main Gaming only has 1 kill, but a Molly hits Ernster perfectly. He's not going to have time to get a smoke out. Asperberg gets killed through the smoke by Hobie. Unfortunate situation there. Kind of locked on the outside. And obviously AFI is already kind of warmed up from some of their previous shooting.
Yeah, it was just that whole, if you get lit on fire, you can't ADS. So a great Molly from Hobie kind of took Ernster out of the fight. And so it was a little bit of a 2-on-1 situation, technically, but some great work coming out from AFI. Very efficient as a 2-man here. They're going to keep pushing this way, Blitz, and they're going to eventually run into this GE squad. I want to get back down into their perspective if you can. Zalodi's already looking for more. He's got one.
This is terrible for GE. They've been playing here for quite some time, but this is what happens sometimes when you don't solidify an area and kind of just hang out on the edge of zone here. They should have either moved in probably or pushed on Winter Circle.
This is just a 2-man wrecking crew right now for AFI.
I mean, these two players, though, are just veterans for AFI, previously Skyline Gaming. I think originally AFI, then to Skyline, but they've been playing together for so long. And Zality is one of the first people that I recognized. Anytime I would go into TDM, I would see this guy in my TDM games, even from years ago. This guy's a TDM warrior, and you could see the practice. Some of his sprays are just crazy, and he's in the clan tag laser, and it definitely defines part of his game for sure.
Well-timed push on the back end is going to spoil this round, which was going so well for Zalodi. It's Red Eye with an AUG of his own, picking up some nice headshots. Hobie's going to bend down for a heal here real quickly. And there you go. Red Eye is going to get eliminated by the backside flank by Kofry. And then you go. Hobie is out in 7th place. The dub hub still hanging on. It's going to be Cheech doing all he can to represent the
ladies are here.
4 kills.
Great spray from San Anta. Then she gets dropped by Droppa from the Crazy Mob.
Yeah, really well-timed push from the Toxic Lady Lasers. Unfortunately, the third party is what took San Anto down, but Problems isn't done yet. He does get some good shots onto Lex, and now it's down to just Jammy Jams on the edge here. She's got 1 kill to her name, 6 for the squad, and the Toxic Lazy Lasers having a decent second match of the game here. She's going to have that shack for just a little bit longer, and then she's going to have to push down this hill towards the Crazy Mob, who is just a 3-man along with Winter Circle. So some broken teams here defining our end game in a very interesting situation. But a lot of the carnage has already taken place. There's 5 teams, 11 players alive, and it's only 23 minutes has passed.
Yeah, as a fan of the game and kind of game theory and strategy, I love just kind of remembering how the circles go to similar areas. And this is a ending that you see once in a while when you're playing PUBG, especially in the ranked competitive scene. And from previous games I've seen, Crazy Mob seems to be in one of the best spots here. If they can hold strong, eventually kind of move to the left and take out Jams here from TOL, they should have
hard crash onto the shack.
Oh, we just missed it here. Didn't think anyone was going to be doing that. That was Kidzo.
Sent the shack, and Tony took him down, but a long range, I believe, from the other member of Vigorous actually picks up the kill onto Tony. So now it's just a solo in this shack down here. I kind of agree with what you were saying. I think the Crazy Mob is in the best position. I think it's going to like kind of pull to the bottom of their side of this hill, and so I think they're going to kind of be able to slowly work their way down from this area. I think the team that's going to have the most to say about that is Winter Circle, who do have some good spread in zone between Bougie, Jolly, and Kofry. They've got some good stake their claim spots in zone here, and Jammy Jams was trying to sneak up on them, but it's actually Bliv from long range that's going to put an end to the Toxic Lady Lasers round. They're going to go out in 5th place. Down to our final 4 teams very quickly here.
Yeah, Prodigy does not have much room to work with. Jolly there, getting some shots. We haven't really watched Winter Circle ABN Karm hiding in the shed. Going to be tough to play out of that. Jolly has a pretty fast DMR shot. That was the thing of contention, I think, a little while back, and he actually posted himself shooting with a hand cam. And honestly, if you ever go into training mode and try to shoot the SLRs, you can shoot way faster than you can imagine. It's just the question is, you know, will that actually work out for you? Because usually spamming those guns doesn't.
Bliv's going to pick up that solo onto Prodigy. So some good kills coming out for the Crazy Mob here. I want to tap into their perspective really quickly. They have 8 kills total now. And it's been a lot of long-range DMR work towards the end of this game here. They need to keep an eye on the southwest side of zone. Kofry is trying to lead the winner's circle boys up the hill.
Would love to see some FAMAS action. I just selfishly have to tap into his perspective. I want to hear the FAMAS today. Every time we go to somebody with this gun, they're getting eliminated, and this is a tough push for Winner Circle, so it could happen here again. I know me and you talked about the FAMAS. You said originally you liked it with a smaller scope. I like it with the 4 and 6 times on this thing, even though the range isn't incredible. We're going to see 4 times attempt. Lost control of it there, and you know the whole mag kind of dumped quickly.
You can see it fires kind of like an SMG, but it does have a limited amount of range. So if you're going to hit your shots, it's devastating, I feel like. But it is kind of tough to control at range. Jolly and Fuji are going to need to step up a little bit here to take the heat off of Kofry. They do just enough right now, and Kofry still has a little bit on his 3 helmet and some impressive
Very
shots
nice
with the DMR over the rock top there. He quick flips to the FAMAS there and almost takes down Droppa.
Yeah, close shot there.
Droppa does win that fight, though. I thought Kofry was gonna start feeling himself on a next level there. That would have been nuts, but Droppa put an end to it pretty quick with some nice AUG shots of his own. I'm kind of curious what they're looking at on the other side, Blitz, for the Crazy Mob.
And now it's time for Karm to come in. He's kind of pushing behind Crazy Mob. Now is his time to maybe make a move here and take out the Crazy Mob from behind as they kind of hurt Winner Circle. He needs to be smart, though, and wait. Droppa with game sense, checking his back, knows that someone might be coming from that way. Spots, Karm now knows there's somebody there, so he has to try to use the smoke for cover. Kofry, meanwhile, gets a knock on Bliv here. Or was that a flush? It might have been.
The flush onto Bliv has come out, and the revive happened on the Kofry, so which was a knock on each side. Unfortunately is going to go in the favor of Winner Circle here, but Droppa playing that rock really well and doing a good job of backing off Karm. But Kofry has flirted with a couple of long range knocks with that 4x on
finally gets it
a couple times, and he does finally get it. Maybe we need to get into that man's perspective right now.
We're hopping back to Kofry.
Yeah, he's got 4 kills, leading the way here with the FAMAS. He's got the red dot on it now, Blitz. A couple of throwables to his name now. The pins are being pulled. Aiming for the trees, as you often do. Aiming for the smoke, the hot spots where people would likely be in this situation. He's going to stun push now, heading through the smoke. And Problems has taken out Karm on the other side. Oh my gosh, little thirst situation here. And Winner Circle in full control of this. They just need to find the final member of the Crazy Mob, and they do it and make it look very easy. So once they kind of got that revive off onto Kofry's, it was kind of good night for the rest of the lobby at that point. It's nothing crazy, just 6 kills and a chicken dinner, but that's going to be a good start for the Winner Circle in the second match of the day. Crazy Mob had 9 kills and a second place, and ABN, our winners from last round, had a broken round there, so a good job by Karm to get them into third place with 1 kill.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're going to head over to the camera section here. Only 1 kill, but for placement points, that's great for them. Kind of just confidence, momentum, I feel like, right? Even just making it to the end after a dub is just good momentum. And honestly, any game, even video games, to me are heavily momentum based. So that's good for them. And, you know, for a lot of teams, sometimes it just takes a little while to get going, which is great that this event is going on for multiple weeks. But great game there. What do you think was like the deciding factor that helped Winner Circle win that as opposed to the Crazy Mob there, who we thought had a great spot, but you said Winner Circle might be the thorn in their side there on that angle?
Yeah, honestly, I think Kofry's was just like a tornado, man. He was just like an absolute storm, laying down so many different FAMAS sprays in the direction of Crazy Mob that they like Droppa was doing all he could, and Droppa's an insane shooter. I've been watching him for a while now, and he did pick up a good knock onto Kofries, but it still just wasn't enough. Once they got Kofries back up, Kofries actually landed one or two of those sprays and kind of broke down the crazy mob, who then turned and dealt with Karm on the backside, and it was kind of just at that point in control. But I think, you know, Kofries really set the pace there, with some intense sprays out of that from us, which we don't get to see enough of in competitive. But you can see the power and the long range knocks that, again, if you have a 4x on it and you can control it, those sprays can be absolutely devastating from range.
Yeah, it was awesome to see that. I'm going to quickly head over to the scoreboard. This isn't going to include that last game, but we forgot to kind of check in on this because there was a lot of good action towards the end of that game there. So the team that won, that was Abnormal. Trying to see how far that's moved them up on the leaderboards into 9th place, which is good for them because they're trying to work their way into the top 8. You guys can take a look. Console Killer still in first there, Affinity, but we'll have to see after this game. So once this updates for the next game, we'll show you guys. We're gonna set up game number 3, the first game on Miramar. We'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, welcome to game 3 of day 2 NA versus EU showdown. Again, this is the NA portion. This is our map rotation for today. We are entering the dusty desert of Miramar. Here's our flight path for right now, going from Puerto Paraiso to Alcantara. Check out the pronunciation there. I don't even know if that's accurate or not. Here are our groups for today. We got Group A versus Group C playing. Last night we had Group A versus Group B. So again, we'll be posting more schedule information if anything is confusing for you guys. But right now, NA is going to be playing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's 5 p.m. Pacific. And then EU is playing before them on Monday and Tuesday. So hopefully that makes sense. We'll be trying to post some more information about that. Again, this is just the first week, so we're still getting some things set up and production going. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the event. A lot of great action. I am Blitz5 here with my buddy and co-host and founder of Main Gaming, Stento. What's going on, buddy?
I'm excited to see how Miramar adds a little bit of a shakeup. We saw a couple matches yesterday with Group A versus Group B. But now we've got 8 new teams in here for this NA section. So I'm interested to see where these teams are dropping. I've got my eyes peeled on the map right now, and I don't really see a hot drop at this point. So perhaps it could be a good time to go check into the scoreboard and maybe into some damage and kill leader stat splits if we have a second.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure if we've seen an update on the scoreboard just quite yet. Let's see if this will load over. Oh, this is for NA. Sorry, wrong one here. 1 second. We have our NA scoreboard. Not sure if we're seeing an update on this just yet.
I think if it's not updated for the second wrangle, it's definitely got the first one in there.
Oh, definitely is the first one. That's for sure.
Yeah, but match 3 of the evening. But right now, where it stands on the scoreboard. Oh,
oh, sorry. We go back.
No worries. Yeah, we'll check out just the top couple teams real quick. Console Killers hanging out up there with 86 points. 7 Kings and Affinity 69 and 66. And rounding up the top 5 right now is going to be Toxic and Abnormal. I'd just like to point out that the top 9 teams out of these 24 at the end of the 3-week regular season will be moving on. And we'll take a quick look at some kill leader stats from basically the first day, but also the first match tonight. It was Boatman for Team Toxic leading the way with 19 kills over the course of the 5 matches yesterday. So just an insane day for him. An insane day also for Pixel and Turbot of the Console Killers, our first place team. And of course, Destroya for 7 Kings and Zalodi, who we were just watching go off with that AUG. For AFI, in one more screen here, we'll take you over to a little bit of damage stats. You're going to see a lot of the same names here. Pixel kind of leading the way right now. Boatman still close behind. Tremis as well for Toxic. And then a couple of 7 Kings players, QRZ and Destroy as well. But Circle has popped for the first phase back on Miramar. And it's a very interesting one. Monte Nuevo is going to be centered up here, Blitz. And a good amount of the map is already literally out of play.
Yeah, this is a very Western circle. I'm happy to see this just get some more variety in here. But yeah, this whole area out of play. Some of the circles even off the map here. So I would say that we're going to see some destruction early, but there's one strange thing about this west side of Miramar, all these small compounds. So many teams can hold these areas. It's just when you're rotating here, playing here, there's a lot of these places that you don't really want to play into. There's a few of these spots that seem to be a little bit stronger than the others. This could be huge for the pickup game. Stento sending somebody all the way across the map, emergency pickup early on. Dubhub seems to be already leaving El Pozo. This is not a circle that you want to be late to, Stento. So hopefully we'll see some teams start to rotate very early to get into a good spot.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those circles where you want a good IGL on your team. There's some obvious power spots that a lot of people are going to move into here early. But if you do have a good IGL that knows how to maneuver the map, scout out the next spots, there is a lot of workable terrain on this map.
There is, yeah. Usually people like to take this ridge here right in the center. Gives you kind of an option to play. Some of these compounds in the foreground here are also pretty good as well. Some teams will like to get immediately to the other side here so they know that their back is kind of covered by this wall. The clip that is, there is an area somewhere around here that's actually playable with an emergency pickup. This is kind of a cheeky spot here that teams can get to. I've seen people use this before, and we did see a team yesterday use 2 pickups to get to a spot like this and then leave that spot. But then also we have the addition of parachutes and the foldable shield. So you could get up here, drop a couple foldable shields, just lay it down and be safe for quite some time. And then, eventually just parachute off if that's what you wanted to do. So there's just so many things that have changed the game in PUBG in normal mode, but also in esports as well now.
So we're starting to see some of these teams begin their rotations. We're on board with Crazy and the Toxic Lady Lasers. They're in decent zone right now, but they're trying to get a little bit better. But they're going to have some competition. GE, AFI, PI, all already on rotations of their own in the same area, Blitz.
Yeah, they're getting pretty close here with GE. AFI getting kind of close to... Oh, I want to see on this side, Torch shooting at a normal that pulled up across from each other. This is such a stalemate compound here. These two ones that people often take. Dubhub kind of took that spot on the mountain there. This is just on the west side of Monte Nuevo. Kind of interested, Sento. What teams are you interested in seeing? I would love to see TLL continue to do pretty well. I think they placed 5th last match. They were just out of the top 4. They definitely seemed like they had some good excitement going for them, especially surviving that initial crash.
Yeah, you just love to see different teams starting to win their 4v4 fights. So it was nice to see the Lady Lasers just get it going, and then we weren't even watching them, and they were picking up more kills and found themselves into a nice 5th place on a pretty difficult circle there. So it was definitely nice to see them get it going. I don't really think they got much rolling yesterday. Were they involved yesterday? I can't remember off the top of my head at this point. So many teams in different regions and stuff. But it was lovely to see them get rolling here a little bit. And they're in a decent zone on the south side here. So we'll keep an eye on them. AFI also got into a little bit of good zone. But there's a lot of teams kind of strewn about each other, taking early game splits with the map we're looking at here. You can see the splits that AFI, PI, Torch, and all these different teams are taking really close to each other. So you got to be careful if you're going to be doing this early game. You can't be taking knocks and thirsts at this point in phase 1.
Yeah, I like this split from Torch here a lot. AFI also has a pretty good split as well, except for it's 1-3, which is a little risky. Want to point out here that on top side, SSG is grouping up together. Jalapeno got a Groza first care package of the game, and Vigorous is making their way on the north side. We've talked about it so many times with them rotating. How are they going to play this? Are they going to play passive here? Maybe look for emergency pickup, just play the top side. I wish we could see if they had a pickup in their inventory center, because it's just such a game changer.
Yeah, that would be interesting if you kind of equipped like some of the other stuff, like first aids or something into those slots. But maybe that's a suggestion we gotta write down. But for now, a little bit of a stalemate. Main Gaming has found their way into a decent spot on the east side of zone. Winner Circle still over there in San Martin, and a couple other teams making a late rotation. You can see on the south side of your map, Crazy Mob is going all the way around. They're going to come up that south side there, and they're really only going to have TDT and the Lady Lasers waiting for them. I think we're seeing some long range knocks start to break out, but as we mentioned, this is a situation where you got to be careful. AFI is pushing onto this. They got a knock onto Tick, and this is why you don't take those splits. We talk about it all the time. If you're gonna take a 2-2 split, you gotta not take a knock, and you have to be aware of those 4-man crashes. And AFI is not a team you want to be pushing you this early. They're playing it super aggressive. They've got mollies involved, and Precision is excuse me, Precision mollied the stairs so we could get this revive here, but that nade was in the center of the room. Tick is downed again. Precision is holding very strong here, backing up for a little bit of a thirst situation. He does get it, but both of these members of Torch are going to go down, but not without a little bit of mutual destruction, taking Omerta with them.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the remainder of Torch not even move over there. They didn't even think about going. They kind of had maybe a decision there to cut their losses, or just be like, you're on your own on that side. They're not even that far away from each other.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was gonna be kind of, I'm not gonna say reckless, but there is ABN kind of watching. If you look just to that north side over there, so if they're starting to take cars over there, how worth it is it gonna be to try to like endure the third party shots on the way over there and pull up on a team that's kind of already established in a little bit of a 3v1? So I don't know. You know, I think in most situations I'm gonna try to get over there and help my team, but you know, in a lot of situations it's kind of just reckless to even try that, you know.
No, for sure. I just hopped in on this perspective again. Sorry for changing up. It just cracks me. I took a screenshot there because that's just so ridiculous. It's like a PUBG meme at this point, seeing the players just hang out like that.
You got to put like a poker table in between them or something. You know, we could put something down there.
Two teams, it seems like, are parachuting in together right now.
Maybe like a Twister map. They'll be playing Twister kind of on that thing.
Yeah, that'd be pretty ridiculous there. So I kind of lost these two teams then, though. It looks like Tragic and Winter Circle are parachuting together, which doesn't initially make sense because only one team can parachute together at a time. But sometimes teams are so far away from each other that by the time they kind of end up linking up, you know, if one team was so far out of the zone, right, they kind of end up dropping at the same time.
There could be a situation where if a team took one from really far away, the timer would reset in time for a team to take one closer. Yeah, that they could meet in the air and be dropping. So it just kind of depends. I think Winter Circle was very far away. They were over there in San Martin, so they had a long journey versus a short journey that the other team had. So I think that might explain it. But yeah, as you're saying, it doesn't make sense for them to be in the air at the same time because, as you know, you can block people from using those if you get it down right as the circle shifts up. I think there's just like one available for the first like minute or so. So you have to get it down right as that circle shifts up. It's kind of like the care package, the flare package is how they run out of tanks and how they run out of packs if you're not the first one to shoot it on those circle ups. So yeah, it's kind of similar in that sense. But it was very interesting to see both those teams in the air at the same time.
Funny visual. I was trying to explain that, but you put it in better terms there. And Winter Circle looks like they were thinking about potentially pushing towards TDT there. Game Boy just got a knock onto Droppa.
Yeah, that's long range. If you take a look at your map, that's like 400
wow, that is pretty far away there. Kofry got an initial shot. Again, these are winners from last game, so they're definitely probably feeling themselves after that last match, but they also probably want to have a good game here, so they might be a little hesitant to really commit. They're also in a pretty good spot. Shanks with a nice heady onto Kitty there. Kofry's kind of licking his wounds at the bottom of this compound, bottom of the building, excuse me.
Yeah, what's interesting is TDT seemed kind of intent on pushing WC, but the third parties are just making it so hard. Val has kind of got up to the shack. Gonna need to use the smokes to kind of push back and help the rest of the squad. Revives are actually, they haven't gone out yet, but this team actually, Winter Circle sending, and actually Foul dies to the long range MK12 of Jalapeno all the way out there on the edge of the map. So Winter Circle was full sending this. They already had gotten a knock or two and were fully aware of the third parties picking up knocks as well. So they're gonna have a ton of loot to kind of sift through here. And Jolly's already got his eyes on the next threat. But Winter Circle in a very comfortable spot right now, basically center zone, as phase 3 is about to shift, heading closer to Monte Nuevo now. So Winter Circle no longer center zone. They're going to need to get moving a little bit to the north. There's plenty of area on this ridge in front of them, as you can see, but eventually AFI is kind of waiting for them. I'm watching kind of Main Gaming pick up a package and shift under AFI. A couple other teams on the edge, PI and AE, need to kind of get moving here soon. So it's a very heads up play by Main Gaming to be getting into this compound, which is apparently wide open right now on the low side of this hill.
Yeah, I was trying to see what package that MG got, then it flipped me to ABM. They have an MK, so a couple packages in play. I don't know what Main Gaming got. They have the level 3 gear. Acid or Ernster must have the gun because I can only see one gun. I think Acidbird has the P90 here. I know she usually likes to rock the Vector, at least used to.
Wow, Hobie was shooting from the top of the hill with the AUG and almost got both of those knocks, but Main Gaming's going to be able to get into that compound right now. And now look at this.
Pushing
AE
PI.
is pushing aggressive onto PI, exactly.
funny because Main Gaming just left the spot. Another man's trash, another man's treasure. PI pulls up, but is it treasure? It might not be for PI because AE is here. The knock comes in. The nade might bounce to the door. Door closes, but the nade's going to take that off here.
Yeah, trades kind of start this fight out, Blitz. So it's down to a 3v3. Both teams kind of a little bit long range, trading some util and some shots. And it's nap time, who turns it into a 2v3 into the favor of PI with some good shots out of the M4. I think both of these reses are going to happen on both teams. So I think both squads will be back to 4 strong here in just a second.
Yeah, PI could have pushed this with the double knock. They got up their teammate pretty quick. I think they just mollied themselves, Stento. Nap time did. Almost going down. Molotov sticking to his name. Molotov's nap time.
Molotov
could push on this.
That's nuts. It could be used as an opportunity. What's interesting, Blitz, if you take a quick peek at your map, they don't need to. They're in a really good zone, both of them.
It's true.
So although it's just a really weird spot to kind of hang out with 2 teams, it is very possible.
Wow, this is crazy. I just had to flip over here, leading that action. Multiple teams over here, and RR trying to drive through as CK Bazaar, our winners, try to shoot the car. Coma gets tragic end out. And they're going to try to pick up that flush. Coma does, picking up their first point of today's game. Our first place players for NA were out fairly early in our game. 1 or 2, I think it was last match maybe. Second match on Erangel. So they're going to try to pick up some more points and survive longer here today. Sento
this is such an interesting zone, Blitz.
It is. It did shift surprisingly north here, so I'm really curious where this one goes. Wow, Stento.
Oh my goodness.
I'm actually kind of shocked by this. All the way back to Monte Nuevo here, and everybody left.
Yeah, I think AFI is going to just have a field day from their location up top here, because almost the entire lobby has to come through them. But this battle has broken out. AE has pushed onto this building, and several nades into the windows have already started things off here.
Yeah,
they do have a knock onto their own team here, but I think they're going to push in here and get this wipe. However, Molotov has gotten 2. There's only one. I think it's a 1v1 between Molotov and one of the members of AE left.
Yeah, Molotov's
going
to thirst in. I think it's 2v2.
Yeah, a lot going in here. Kind of tough to tell exactly. You're right. Now it is a 2v2 going on. And both thirsts have already come out on each team. So these guys are still in here, but we kind of knew that this. Yeah, we knew that this was going to happen at some point, because these compounds were going to get circled out eventually, and it's just like 2 small houses way too close to each other. So we knew they were going to get impatient and make that push at some point. But yeah, it's not really working out for either team, honestly.
It's hard when there's a full 4-man in this building to have a clean push. I mean, if you do surround it and get some good throwables into all the windows in a coordinated manner, it can work out okay, but right there it did not, and both teams mutual destruction, as we always say. There's also so much happening here, Stento. I kind of want to pull over to Main Gaming because they're getting pulled up on by TLL. We can also see what's going on with AFI above. There's another care package with Winter Circle just to the left. Crazy Mob's also pushing on the south side. I'm kind of in a map view right now so people can see what's going on here. This is absolutely crazy on the left side.
Yeah, this is nuts. And a flare and a package have dropped in the middle of all this. So Crazy Mob is pushing up onto this while the Winter Circle is kind of above the 2 teams. 3 teams now in the compound below with Main Gaming. And there's just fights breaking out left and right.
Bushi went for the care package and just immediately ran into the enemy of Crazy Mob there.
Yeah, that might be a good perspective to go get into. The Crazy Mob kind of coming from the edge here. Might be able to catch Winter Circle a little bit off guard, but Kofries on top of the mountain is playing a very important role for the Winter Circle team. He actually might be retracting a little bit here, deciding that he can't really do anything to save his fallen teammate Bougie here. But Jolly is wrapping the low side here, Blitz, and he's got a very powerful gun, and he's got a 50 clip in that thing to take down 2 members of the Crazy Mob. And Kofries has rejoined the battle, takes down a 3rd member. It's just Droppa that's left.
Yeah, I think Crazy Mob got really disoriented here with where Winter Circle was located. Kofry has to move in because he was going to get knocked by zone, but then gets taken out from Hobie across the way. They're going to most likely lose Bougie and Kofry, which is actually kind of a big loss for the Crazy Mob. Jolly's here with the P90. Could push up and try to get the last kill, but doesn't want to get taken out from above there from the third party from AFI.
Yeah, unfortunately for our winners from last game, Winner's Circle there, it looked like Jolly almost kind of turned the tides of that, and they might have been able to get 3 out of it, but Droppa just wouldn't go down. Picks up a kill or 2, and I think a third party from AFI might have taken 1 or 2 of those as well. But now Droppa's just kind of hanging out on the edge as a solo. 2 kills for the crazy mob right now as we just passed the 20-minute mark here, Blitz.
Yeah, Droppa actually went past the care package, Sento. It's available. So level 3 gear, the Winner's Circle member got killed going for it, so he could refresh his gear and get a FAMAS, but he just skipped it, maybe thinking he was already taken there. Could really use that level 3 helmet as a solo at this point. We'll see if he goes back to check it.
Blitz, we were calling it out yesterday. We don't ever see a city ending. Is this going to be the first time we get a little Monte Nuevo ending? It's going to happen either, you know, on the edge of these cliffs, or it's going to pull in, I think.
I would really like to see it, man, because there's just so many famous clips, you know, on PUBG Esports of those crazy endings in Los Leones. And honestly, I've been tracking it over the past year, 6 months since we were doing the weeklies. I really think PUBG changed some of the settings or something, because we just don't see them anymore. I mean, prove me wrong, PUBG. Let's get a freaking city finish. I know sometimes the players dislike it because of the chaos, but as a spectator, it's so much fun to watch. And right here, AFI making it fun to watch too, ripping some DMR shots from the hill now. This car's on fire. AE, even though they were survivors of that little skirmish, are going to go down to AFI here. They picked up 7 kills. They've been in a great position this whole time, playing really smart. 3 members still up for their squad.
Yeah, I was kind of watching down on the low side. Zaloti just got a nice knock down the hill. MG has got a couple members of TLL to gatekeep here, but there's a couple of solos hanging out on the high side, and as well, Ernster with the first knock of this battle. He's going to take down Crazy. It's just San Anto with a pretty much impossible push here between both Main Gaming sitting here and watching and all of the third parties up above.
Yeah, San Anto in the blue now. Main Gaming, the whole team kind of waiting for someone to come through the smoke. No one's coming yet, though. San Anto might just take the blue. Honestly, that's kind of smart at this point to just take the L. But now Main Gaming needs to think about their path out of here. We're going to check the circle. It's phase 5 going into phase 6 here. Circle's about to pop in just a few seconds. And
oh my
Circle.
gosh.
Wow, coming up to AFI, they have to be stoked that they took this spot early on, Sento.
Yeah, this is a really crazy spot, and honestly, it's not necessarily an easy spot to hold. You really have to be careful if you're going to take the top part of this whole structure. I'm not even sure really what to call this up here. Is that a mine, a mina of plata? I'm not sure what that means, but it's a very tough spot to hold because it kind of drops off on all sides. So the people that are pushing up can kind of have ridges as they push you. So as long as you know how to handle it, you'll have a lot of shots on all different angles. But again, it is going to be tough to hold end game as multiple teams try to push them, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have seen a circle or two finish up here, and this might be where this circle is going. It does get hectic because it's hard to see people below you here pushing up, right? If they get really close below AFI. But they will, if they play smart, they will solidify a top 4 here, most likely. Traxy saw GE, who's just kind of hanging out on the cliff face there to our north side of the camera. Vigors is still up, Stento. They're just too strong. They have 5 kills. Let's take a look at some of our kill rankings so far. AFI in first, followed by Main Gaming for this game, and then Vigorous out of the remaining squads, that is. They're trying to heal up and figure out a plan. CK still up. 1 remaining member for Winner Circle, Jolly, who I think had the P90.
Yeah, there's a couple P90s on the battlefield. Jolly's got one. Acid Burn has one. And Blitz, we might have to wait a little bit because AFI is in such a comfortable position and everyone else around them has got a little bit of cover and is, for lack of better words, in zone here. Vigorous and Jolly for winner circle, both going to work their way in to their edges, I think.
Yeah, I'm curious how Main Gaming is going to play this. They're waiting. It looks like they're not going to make any early moves here, which I think will benefit them, because if they did, they'd be the only team making that early move, right? So AFI might be able to pick up those footsteps. They might want to wait until there's some shooting on the north side to push up. I really think the circle's going to AFI. What do you think, Sento? I don't think it's going back to Monte Nuevo here. It'd be interesting. Dubhub would be pretty happy, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
I think it's going to end like just to the north side of where AFI is. Then if you're looking at like your map, just like the northwest side, like on that dirt road a little bit. Yeah. In there. I think it's going to end right in there, but
I think I've seen a circle end where this was. I think I've seen a circle where just below them was center right here, kind of back in the day. So I wonder.
It
looks like
end on CK there as well. Yeah.
So it looks like it did go to CK. So this is actually pretty interesting because it could come off pretty late. Now that I think about it, I have seen this variation here. CK's got to be stoked that they took this building here. They can kind of wait out. Main Gaming now has to decide what is going to be their path here. Is it going to be through AFI? Is it going to be around AFI, sneaking on the wall? I'd love to know if Zowdy knows there's someone below him or not.
Yeah, I've kind of jumped into Tragsy's position. He's got his eyes on the 2-story right below him because he doesn't really know that that's clear. So Tragsy's kind of waiting for Blue to push any further in along the base of these rocks here. FNX and him seem to be kind of playing a little bit of a game of leapfrog as they're trying to find their way into zone.
I was viewing their perspective. I'm going to tap into Dubhub because they are going to be watching Vigorous try to get in here. Cheech almost got a knock, but then one of the members of Vigorous got him down to 7 health. Wabaku now has to kind of cover while the other member heals. Wabaku across the way. I'm going to flip over to Vigorous. Kidzo and Ghosted. Wonder how aggressive they're going to get. Are they going to go for a play or just play in the outskirts? They're together in this building. Also, Main Gaming's made a move. Hobie might know there's some people below. Main Gaming has made a big stretch here.
Funny. FNX and Trags, they've just been quite literally leapfrogging each other up the edge here. And they don't really have any threats right now. It's eventually going to be the Dubhub looking their way from the brick buildings, but it's a little bit of a 2v2 from brick building to brick building here. So that's where all the focus is in that immediate fight here. So Main Gaming really isn't taking any shots from that brick building. I'm not sure how good of an angle they would have. I guess they would be able to see from the second, third floor if you do kind of get an angle at that brick building there. So Lodi's really the biggest threat, just kind of hanging out above them. He knows exactly where they are. They almost get a knock onto Hobie there. He's going to have to get a quick heal off here. And AFI, who was in the best position, are slowly getting pulled off of their perch up here, Blitz.
So right, man. Hobie kept getting tagged from somebody in town. I didn't catch who that was, but that was twice. Almost got killed there. I think he's going back to look for maybe a fresh helmet or something. Almost got knocked. And you're right. It's like such a PUBG moment where you once have the best spot and you don't want to leave. And then slowly you're kind of losing that position. And you can't really control it. And Jolly is still there with a P90, which again, if you're viewing, we're on a 10-minute delay. Not that we've ever had any issues with any kind of cheating in any of the leagues that we've had, but I really love that we have this 10-minute delay on because it just really, I feel like, prevents any possibility that would happen. I love seeing people kind of sneaking on the back of the zone because you never know what's going to happen. I love those solo players. I love being in that position as a solo player. Obviously, you'd rather have your team alive, but
Hobie is leading the boys down right into MG down this hill, and Wabaku takes him down. They just got rid of Ghosted in enough time, and Ernster actually lasers Wabaku into that building. So all sorts of kind of crazy trades going out here. Main Gaming is just kind of holding tight, prone against this wall here.
Cheech isn't going to be able to get up to get Wabaku. The zone's going up. He can't get into that building in time. That was a huge knock for MG there. This could be it. Now they need to kind of push on AFI. They probably could have there, but the res has come off. Now they just need to wait, and little do they know, Jolly might come behind them, and here it starts. Light goes down, and the flush. MG should go now.
Yeah, it is probably a good time to go. They saw one get knocked in flush, and then Jolly's going to go out to Zalodi. So same two that we saw kind of do some work in the end of last game. Hobie and Zalodi are quite the duo to be reckoned with here. But it is a 4-man of main gaming over there. And then as you look to the other side of the map, it's a 2-man for CK, a 1-man for both. A solo for both Vigorous and Cheech here. And I think this is about to break off. Kidzo is pushing into the 2-story. He takes down Jaeger and almost takes down the second. Kidzo is a man on a mission here. He's got to look out from the high side shots. He's going to throw a nade, I think, here.
I think he was cooking and just decided to underhand the stairs. A lot of preemptive fire there from Kidzo. It's just amazing kind of gun skill there. AFI opening up on FNX there. Traxy with the trade onto Zality. It's just Hobie left. This is where sometimes I just wish main gaming would get a little bit more aggressive here. They just have the 1 man left for Hobie, but I do understand, though, they're actually probably playing smart because they don't know what the angle is to their right, and they don't exactly know where Hobie is, which is probably the better play in this situation.
More nades coming out from Hobie. Might be able to get a knock onto Tragsy here if this is placed right, but the heal is going to come off just in enough time there. So Tragsy's back to half health as that nade went off there. The rest of main gaming is trying to find out exactly where Hobie is. Acid Burn's got a little bit of an angle. He's going to consider a res here and just kind of listen to that as the third parties start to come out here. Hobie might benefit from those third parties. Tragsy is looking over, trying to figure out exactly what he can see on this side here. There's still a 2-man and a solo in the house, and the revive might be coming off on Zalodi.
I can't believe that revive came off, Stento. This is absolutely crazy. I think we have to stay in this air review. Everybody down below has died. Now the circle's going that way. Hobie's the first one down, which is a big advantage having a player down there already. Nobody from MG's down, but Zalodi goes down. Now it's a 3v1, and it comes down. MG taking the dub from the top side there.
What a crazy zone there, Blitz. I can't even really believe that they were able to get the revive off onto AFI, and I kind of thought that MG might have dropped the ball there by focusing elsewhere, but they're able to clean up the 3 people coming out of that house and then deal with the 2-man of AFI. Main Gaming's first chicken dinner of this event, and it's going to be a 9-kill win, 3 kills going out to those 3 teammates respectively. AFI doing some impressive consistent work here, mainly at the hands of Zalodi and Hobie, who pick up a total of 9 kills for the squad there. And rounding out the top 3 is Vigorous with 5 kills there, Blitz.
Yeah, that was very good to see. In CK and Dubhub in 4th and 5th. As we say hello to everybody again, that was just the end of game 3. The first game on Miramar. We'll be going back to that one after a quick break here in just a sec. But interesting play from main gaming. They were playing methodical, which is smart, but then also, you know, the I don't know what word you want to say, but I wanted them to get a little bit more aggressive, just being, you know, a fan of the game, but it played smart, ended up working on their favor. I got nervous when Hobie dropped down because he kind of already dealt with that Superman effect and could maybe watch them. And a Molly came out, so I was like, oh, that could be bad for MG, but they ended up clutching it up there, which was definitely exciting for them. And another team winning in the event so far, which is great for the parity of the competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's 19 points for main gaming. I think they were towards the middle, middle to bottom half of the leaderboard after yesterday's events. We'll have to see exactly what that does for them. Yeah, as you can see, hanging out in 17th. So that's about going to more than double what they had already and jump them right into the conversation for that top 9. So a big Miramar win there for MG. I'm going to toss them again right back into the conversation. And I know they're going to be happy about clutching that up. And it's just a really tough zone to kind of predict what's going to happen on that mountain and on that area. And the patience by the MG squad there really did work out for them in the end.
Yeah, and you have to think about their position was arguably one of the worst spots, being on the opposite side of that hill and having to kind of maneuver around. They patient. I mean, that really slow play.
Mountain works to your favor in that situation. Yeah. You know,
I guess so, because they were able to hug it, right? So
yeah, so it was really weird. And again, the timing of the Dub Hub fight versus Vigorous in those 2 brick buildings, which might have been able to see them as they kind of wrapped that dirt road. It's just very interesting PUBG timing to that all. But a nice win for MG, a good game for several teams there. But we're going to take a short break as we get the second Miramar set up here. We'll be back with match 4 in just a few moments, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, be right back. GG's, everybody. All right, we are back for game 4 out of game 5 for our day 2 of the NA versus EU showdown. This is NA teams. Here's our playing path from Alcantara to Impala to show you guys who is playing in this event. We have Group A versus Group C. We'll get back to the playing path here in just a second so you guys can see where everybody's dropping. That last circle was really interesting there, Sento. Going back to Monte Nuevo, a lot of good circles today, keeping a lot of variety, which we like to see. Hopefully we'll see something interesting with this playing path. It could be an Alcantara circle, could be an island circle, be even interesting to have one kind of around Picado. Again, I'm still waiting on that city finish. What are you thinking so far, Sento? How are you enjoying the game so far?
I love these Miramar shake 'em ups, and we used to, again, in our weekly series have just one. So I love to get a little bit more Miramar action and really watch some of these North American teams battle it out on this map, because again, we usually we're just one of 5 maps. Now each night is 2 of 5 maps on this, and first circle has popped, and it's going all the way up to La Cabrera and Oasis potentially. But right now, the Toxic Lady Lasers and Abnormal are a couple of the teams that are in a very good spot. And just want to point out, if you do continue to look at your map, tons of teams are on that Impala side of the map, Los Leones, and in Bendita and in between and around. And all of those teams are going to have to find their way to the northern side of zone.
Yeah, I love this circle. Again, keeping up the variety. Going north here, a lot of these circles we see will kind of end by ABN. Sometimes they go to San Martin. Occasionally they go super far north, craters. A lot of good potential finishes here for this zone and switching things up for the droppers. So hopefully, ABN, some of these teams can capitalize. TLL, Vigorous, again, playing a lot better today. For the most part, they did that one kind of mishap there, but I would love to see them kind of take command of this circle with a good spot. Potentially same thing with Dub Hub. We'll see what they can do in game 4 here.
Yeah, I want to give a quick announcement to anyone who's watching and following along with the leaderboard. Our T-Wire started to grab matches from a different event. So for the moment, the leaderboard is slightly off. So if you are kind of questioning what exactly is going on or what are the exact scores, we'll make sure we get that fixed. If not by the end of the night, definitely before we get into the matches tomorrow. So don't worry if you are confused a little bit. That scoreboard has malfunctioned a little bit, so just wanted to give you guys that heads up. But right now, just only 3 minutes into this game, several teams just kind of figuring out their loot and what their path to zone is going to be.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. No EU event for tomorrow. EU will only be playing on Mondays and Tuesdays. It'll be exciting to get a day 3 for NA and kind of complete this week, Stento, right? And just see where things lay after a 3 week. I've been looking at the schedule, but off the top of your head, it's 3 weeks of the regular season. Then we get into playoffs and then into the finals, right? The finals are going to be right before July 4th, I think, is the final day, if I remember correctly, after looking at the calendar for this event. So again, this is an all-month event. Stento's probably better with some of the dates than me, but we are going to be here every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, which is easy to remember right here on my channel, Blitz5 and Friends, unless something crazy happens, but we should be here on those days for a lot of fun action.
Yeah, absolutely. The next 3 weeks, Monday through Wednesday, and then we're going to roll it directly into a couple of weekends following that. So I'm very excited to see which 9 teams from NA is going to find their way out of this region, as we're seeing a couple more teams start to get some wins and work their way up the leaderboard.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how this pans out. I've always enjoyed kind of doing this leagues way back when we did the main gaming league together. Just kind of fun to see it pan out over the weeks, right? As opposed to just having the weekly event. Ooh, we might be seeing TL and Dubhub get close together pretty early on here. Cheech pushing up strong, got an M249 and a mini.
Got some long range shots being laid down right now.
Ooh,
some good
Cheech.
ones at that.
Nice heady there. Brody very close here. Might be almost too far away from the squad, but might have a good pull up here. both these teams I would like to see do well. No affiliation with either of them, obviously. Just looking for some other teams to pull out a dub here. So it's unfortunate that they're fighting each other so early on. I'd like to see them kind of 4 strong in the end game, which we haven't seen yet, I think, from either team. But it looks like that's not going to happen here today, Stento. I'm going to keep kind of Brody's perspective because he's kind of leading the charge on the right side with the AUG. Cerny's about to pop up, only at 75% health. Good upper body shot there, taking Cerny back to 50%. So Brody's got a good potential pusher. Still has 30 clips in the mag. Not going to reload in case it pops out. Good response time. The AUG takes him out. Brody with the flush. Dilla coming in now, taking out Jams.
Man, these toxic lady lasers, they love to fight early, don't they?
They do. I just don't know if they were completely ready for this one yet.
Yeah, the dub hub kind of catching them off guard, but I think that honestly was the same situation with that torch crash, trying to catch them a little bit off guard, but this time not working out for the lady lasers. They're gonna cut and run. I think one San Anto is gonna get away from that situation, so they were trying to get really good zone early, which you can't ever blame them for, but they met the dub hub just at the wrong time up there.
Yeah, they did. And I quickly just found foul from TDT. They started this game with 3 members getting caught out. Nade comes in and takes out foul there. Thought maybe we'd see a bigger skirmish, but he was just a solo at this building outside of Mikado. 2 other members kind of making their way towards zone. Right now, we got some teams doing these crazy rotations we talked about on the right side. Also, some teams getting very close to one another. CK pulling up underneath Vigorous. Love an opportunity to eventually tap into some of their comms today. Again, we did earlier. Great comms from Vigorous. If they get some kind of skirmishes at some point, we'll be tracking them. They're in a great spot early on here. Same with ABN and Winner Circle. Really, some of the 3 best spots to take with this circle at this point. I'd say with Dub Hub, those 4 teams probably have my favorite spots in this zone to hold.
Yeah, they're gonna be comfortable there for now, and probably in a position early enough to maybe catch another team trying to crash their location. Potentially maybe some airdrops going to be trying to drop into some of these locations, so keep your eyes in the sky if you are on the battlegrounds. You gotta keep an eye out for those airlifts on this map because they're so valuable to some of these teams that just have a really rough rotation. I'm hoping this pulls up to Oasis splits, if I'm going to be honest with you.
That would be amazing to see that. I thought we were going to see
true.
Yeah, I thought we were going to see TDT drive by Torch here, but they maybe had a little spidey sense and pulled off. But that would be pretty awesome, dude. I love when the circles go to La Carberia or Oasis. I don't know if we've seen one in Oasis proper since they redid it, but the circles get crazy over here on the north side. AFI making their way towards water treatment here. It's hard to say who's even in the lead in this event right now, Santa, right? Because so many different teams have been playing well.
Well, that and the scoreboard
has
malfunctioned. We'll definitely get that fixed as soon as we can. But unfortunately, it kind of automatically adds the matches to our scoreboard, and I don't personally have the ability to remove them. Unfortunately, I can only add more matches. So that's probably not going to be updated tonight until we get a hold of Twire, and it's pretty late basically everywhere, and I think their representatives are mainly EU, so we'll get that fixed by tomorrow hopefully. But for now, yeah, we know which teams are doing well, and we'll kind of focus on the now here, Blitz.
Yeah, SSG just got pulled up on from RR here. RR was starting to gain a lot of momentum in the weeklies. Haven't heard too much of them today yet. Now could be their time to turn things around. They have 2 knocks down for SSG. Thirst comes out on Jalapeno. Haven't really heard much of either of these teams tonight, Stento, right? I mean, maybe a little bit here and there, but I feel like the Rico Roughnecks, right? That's their moniker, have been pretty quiet so far today.
Yeah, they have been. We've seen Rico Roughnecks have success in some of our weeklies. I don't think they ever took one home, but we know we've seen them end game, and we know they've seen them winning a lot of their fights. So it's just about finding that consistency, really. In their first 3 matches tonight, we really haven't seen much of them. And again, this second circle is going to pull fairly even on all sides. My dream of Oasis is slowly kind of fading here, Blitz, but Still 16 teams alive with 57 players. So a lot is going to start to happen here in the next 5 or so minutes as these teams are slowly forced into one another with phase 3.
Absolutely. I'm taking a look at ABN because they're still in one of my favorite spots. I mean, the circle went a little bit more north here, but I feel like this is just such a great compound because you can keep the vehicles, and take a look what ABM did here. They have 3 vehicles hidden in the back. They had one on the outside tire already got popped there, but 3 vehicles to save them. Sometimes this compound even has the vending machine here. It's not there now, but sometimes this can just be an absolute fortress. There's also a great spot that not all players know about. It's becoming more well known now here. We're actually going to see Karm get into this spot that is kind of, again, becoming more well known, where it gives you increased visibility out of those windows, and it's just really easy to rotate out of the spot. So I guess you could say I'm a fan, Senta. I'm kidding around, but I want to see what they can do from that position there.
Yeah, we saw them win, I believe, the first game of the day, and I think have a decent second game as well, but cooled off a little bit on Miramar. So they'd like to get the ball rolling once again, and actually that knock on the kill feed is one of their members' boat with Bolty onto Jolly there.
Yeah, Winter Circle going for the quick revive. They're kind of putting some shots at PI. You see Bushi's helmet's already red there. Really, at this point in the game, all you're doing is destroying people's helmets and maybe destroying your own. So sometimes it's smart to just kind of wait. It is a little bit boring potentially for the players at this point, but people are just waiting for the circle to close. Crazy Mob getting kind of close to SSG, the last 2 members there.
Yeah, this circle is starting to fill up. We haven't dropped a single team yet, only a couple individual players. So you're seeing teams get comfortable in zone, but only for a limited time here, because that circle is going to be shifting in just about 1 minute. And we'll learn a lot more about the dynamics of this match as we figure out what that phase 3 is exactly going to do.
Yeah, and you have these 2 compounds here that are open. This first one here below the cliff face, which we might see Team 6 roll down into eventually Dub Hub to try to maybe do a 2-2 split to take over that compound. We also have this spot, which is very popular in this zone, that is still open. I would look for Dub Hub potentially to take this, or maybe even the Crazy Mob at some point after they notice this is open.
Yeah, this is such an interesting zone here. And again, I think it's a little bit of a waiting game for a lot of these teams, because you don't want to step into too big of a fight right now, because there's so many teams so close to one another that the third parties are going to play a factor there. And Hobie actually gets a knock and a thirst onto Jaeger. So a little bit of a 2-2 split here. If you do take a look at your map and kind of look at CK, AFI's got them a little bit surrounded here. And it's going to be kind of tough for Bazaar and the CK boys, our first place team right now, to kind of work their way out of this compound, as AFI, I think, slowly applying pressure.
Take a look here. Hobie on the outside. CK already down 1 member. Looking at the map, because people are rotating, the circle went to the east a little bit here, so it's not going to be a crater or Minas finish, not Minas, but whatever the construction area over there on the left side. Not going to end over there. It's definitely going to the right. Winter Circle, ABN are happy about this spot. Same with CK. Vigorous right now is in a really great position. Dub Hub took that compound I was talking about. SSG is also trying to pull up on the south side, or north side, excuse me. We'll see if they get into a skirmish. SSG is going to hear this vehicle pulling up. Will they look to make a play? Soup is a pretty aggressive player. I'm going to tap into his view. He's holding an angle here.
Man.
He catches Brody out and gets some good shots on Wabaku. Gets the double knock, but then the trade happens. SSG's got to step up. Almost takes out Cheech. If Soup had stayed up here, this could be really bad for the Dub Hub. Now they just need to play aggressive and get Gamer out before he starts getting flushes, because that could hurt. A third party comes in, takes out Soup.
Yeah, Gamer is going to get the double kill there between a nade and a nice little 1v1 there versus the last player of the Dub Hub. So the 2-man between Soup and Gamer are going to get it done there for SSG. And the unfortunate for the Dub Hub, Just a tough push. They didn't really know Soup was there, and I think the third-party shots were kind of ringing out, maybe distracting some of the players a little bit.
Wow, they got caught completely off guard there because it just looks so open, and they probably just did not see the two-man of SSG. And now Crazy Mob's here. They were kind of looking at SSG before, and now they're swarming. Blood's in the water. Crazy Mob is trying to go after them. Will SSG be able to get away? He's running for his life now. This is such a crappy situation to be in when you're SSG gamer, right? You're just got a good play, and now a whole team's after you, and he is on the run. Where do you go here? Do you hide? Do you continue moving?
Yeah, your goal is to survive. You already picked up a couple kills. You know, taking a fight versus any sort of a squad is not really an option on this map as a solo at this level, you know? So he's got to try to find his way into some placement, find himself into a situation like this Shack here where he can maybe pick up some scab kills late in game, and just kind of find it, you know, his way into the mix in the top 8 and maybe pick up a couple placement points. But right now, there's so many teams left that he's got to lay low.
Yeah, it makes sense. The circle pushed this way, though, so Crazy Mob's going to be kind of heading towards him sooner or later. Circle went south. ABN Winter Circle still in Vigorous now, though not in as good as a spot as we once thought. CK and AFI are also in the edge of zone, so we'll see how long they can be in the same compound together. I really want to see Vigorous make some good plays, tap into their comp so we can listen in at some point. Winter Circle center, so we'll kind of tap into them. I might tap into Vigorous though, because they're pushing. I think they're going to take this God building compound right here. It's clear. Prodigy waiting to see what's up. Good crash for them.
Get in there right now. I'm not sure they're gonna see much action from that location. They're gonna be happy about that spot.
Ooh, NG's crashing on CK, and AFI is already here behind them. Once these knocks come out, AFI might push this as well. We're tapped into Traxy right now, pulled up very close. We're gonna kind of switch around. I don't know what just happened. It flew me off of main gaming there. Apologies for the spectator. FNX goes down. Literally flew me all the way across the map there. Switching. Acid Burn gets taken out by Coma, just a centimeter off there with that spray. This is looking like a potential failed crash here, unfortunately, for main gaming. Traxy the last one up. AFI starting their push as well. I've tapped into their perspective. Light is leading the charge. CK might not be ready for this. They have at least one member knocked. That CK getting eliminated first, and then MG.
Yeah, that turned into a very messy battle once AFI joined in and started getting some of those kills. Not messy for AFI, however. They're going to stay 4 strong, put 4 kills on the board, and they're going to have a little bit of an edge situation with some cars to work in off of. They're going to have RR still 4 deep, just to the north side of them, so we'll have to keep an eye on them as well. But we're tapping into Gemini Esports perspective here, who just lost Solar, and we're looking at Musty, who's trying to gatekeep some of this TDT squad. He's going to sling a couple grenades towards the palm tree here. I don't know if that's a knock blitz right now. Unfortunately, gets some pretty heavy third-party shots while trying to get the thirst, and I believe that AE stole that kill anyways.
Yeah, interesting. We kind of caught that a little bit late, that wasn't aware that that was already a knock, and kind of almost cost him to get knocked there himself, but he's going to be able to move in. We haven't really tapped in too much to their perspective, so wanted to see what was going on in this corner. Crazy Mob had to leave the compound. They're swarming here. Care package coming out to Vigorous. Musty getting knocked here. Trying to get into the zone. Didn't have the smoke out early enough. Red Eye's going to make it in. Potentially here through these smokes. Good smoke wall, just was a little late. Interesting seeing the different color smokes. You know, they ultimately didn't end up affecting the game too much for PUBG. Not too crazy. Red Eye still goes down to the smoke, though. AE and Torch are just not having it. Actually, that's a triple. 3 different teams shooting at GE. Something that brought my attention here, Sento, is that AFI, RR, Crazy Mob, and the last member of TLL all are outside the zone. and Vigorous is basically the team with the LOS here. The other compound just to their side, small compound, is open, and there's a FAMAS here. So do they send a couple members there to help gatekeep? Do they stay strong? This is a big move for Vigorous. Honestly, could be a good time to tap into their comms because they're going to be defending all different angles. I actually love these situations. I'm going to head over there now. So we'll be right back. We'll listen how they handle this situation.
That's a different one.
Cyan, I love you.
Blue still, blue still, blue still, blue still.
One north 15, stab. Oh, we missed it. Get ready to need
Going
Shanty.
right.
Oh,
I'm getting ready to need. I'm getting ready to need.
They're so...
They
The
stopped.
smoke's up
They
top.
stopped.
Smoke's up top.
No, they stopped again. Up top on blue, heard. Peeking right smoke up high.
Seen.
There's two up there. One's running down the right. Hit twice. Oh, hit once, my bad.
Roasted, watch your left.
Hit twice?
No one has to come down still.
Oh, shit. My bad. Alright, get ready to nade Shanty.
Nade Shanty, nade Shanty.
Knocked one out, knocked one out.
You're a laser!
Not
Best to ever
stolen.
do it. Nade. Damn.
Coming down
I'm down
right.
to a 30.
High right,
Stab.
high right. Knock. The last one's low right on Shanty.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's better jump, he's better
Shanty.
jump, he's better jump.
Watch Crazy. Watch Crazy's on our left. Don't forget.
They're on the bush, they won't bush.
He's on the far right fence line.
He's running down,
Kidding me? It's literally in their name.
Wait,
Crazy.
where's the last one from
TLO.
PLO?
We're just gonna assume she's resting.
Yo, look at the smokes on the right, Stiff.
I mean, everybody on that hill died.
Damn, I can't see.
GG's TLO.
There's still a solo somewhere over there, bro.
Oh, he went bottom right.
I think they're all just dead bodies rolling down. Unlucky.
All right, we're back with Stento there. We could always tune back in, but now there's a little bit of a lull until the next circle is going to push Crazy Mob out. That was actually great with all the teams leaving the hill. One of the great things there in comms that we heard was Ghosted calling out for, they knew that Crazy Mob was going to go for this compound, and they said, you know, let's nade the compound when they go to crash it, which I've never really seen. You always know that people will try to shoot them going down, but the preemptive nading as they pull up, like getting out of the vehicles, getting hit with the nade, it wasn't successful, but I'm definitely going to steal that tactic in my own games to defend against a crash like that to a compound that's nearby. Really smart move, good comms, also so calm and cool. Almost like they're casting, it's like they're not even playing, they're so relaxed. So much action here. We're tapped in to AE. The solo PI is stuck in this shack and getting pushed from AFI. AFI survives that crash.
All right, Blitz, as I often do, I'm gonna ask you to take a winning prediction right now. Do you have any other prediction for a winner in this match other than winner's circle right now?
I'm gonna root. For some reason, again, no affiliation. I'm gonna root for Vigorous here on this north side. But so many good teams. There's so many 4-man Stento. Am I looking at this correctly? Torch has a 4-man. AFI has a 4-man. Winner Circle, Vigorous. Crazy Mob has 3.
Yeah, a lot of complete teams here still hanging on. Quite different than what we were seeing last game, but it looks like Crazy Mob trying to find their way with the push through the smokes, and it's
Winner Circle helping out,
preventing that push. Some great shots coming out of Bougie here with the SLR, and Shanks long range with the
insane with the ump, and that actually helps Vigorous survive, Stento. And now that I see this
That
angle, I mean,
is crazy long range out of slump toe there. And now ABN has pushed onto winner circle with a couple of nade knocks, led by Psycho and Karm.
Abnormal could be the team. What do you think, Stento, calling this as Abnormal comes in? They could be the team to take this.
Wow, this is a crazy little peek here. Trying to get the hip fire working for him through the building. Tony says enough of this window peeks. I'm pushing right in. They got to deal just with Cobra now, and they do. Abnormal making that push look easy there, led by a couple grenades, but Torch is giving them no time to rest at all. It was actually some long range shots on Precision that almost got a knock there, but I believe all members of ABN are going to be able to get back here to full strength. Torch, Precision is pushing up with some grenades.
Wow,
and that's gonna
big
do
nade.
it. That's a double knock, and it's really going to open the door for a Torch push here. So what was the best compound is turning into the worst compound here, as it appears to be incredibly easy to push, Splits.
So this compound does get really hectic because everybody wants to be here. It's often centered with these kind of zones. Vigorous is actually making a big rotation on the right side. AFI still kind of hanging out on the opposite side. So I feel like all the teams that are here earlier are going to probably get picked off from AFI and Vigorous potentially here. Torch is still in a good spot. They're doing pretty good work from ABN. Now the shots come in from Kidzo, taking out one of the members of Torch. Kidzo with the double kill there. You don't want to run into Kidzo on Miramar. He's so good on this map, so good with the sprays and kind of the movement here. This guy's a young gun for sure. Quickly switching to the red dot, getting the flush on OH. Vigorous is here trying to kind of SWAT style entry.
He jumped into the shack and he didn't even realize it because he was focusing the other way. Oh, that was amazing by Stiffy there. Kidzo had all the attention, and Tick is actually in the meantime able to get that res onto Wiz. So now we're looking at 3 teams all sharing this compound. And in the meantime, Prod has been carving up AFI as they try to push in. Prod stayed at this compound and has just been, again, just getting multiple knocks with the mini 6x onto AFI as the rest of his team tries to deal with this compound. They're going to remove ABN. Now they've got a 2-man of Torch to deal with there.
Yeah, it'd really be great if Stiffy, for Vigorous's sake, also kind of focuses on AFI or Ghosted there. I'd almost just leave the 2 members of Torch alone and try to get AFI out, because the 2 members of Torch are stuck upstairs for right now, as long as they have a little bit of their eye on them. And I think that's exactly what they're doing. They're focusing on AFI. Zaldi goes down again. Light is kind of stuck on the bang bus. They know he's there. Stento, winner circle might have saved Vigorous's game by stopping that push from Crazy Mob.
Yeah, this was really, really insane. The dynamics and sightlines that these different players had on each other while different teams were pushing. Just kind of impossible to predict how this is going to unfold. But AFI Hobie with a big knock onto Kidzo there, who was kind of the furthest north flank. They're gonna get that thirst now, and now it's a 3-man for both AFI and Vigorous versus the 2-man of Tick here. So finally down to our final 3 teams here. They're all kind of surrounding this compound, so it's a very, very complicated end here, as the 2-man has been stuck in these buildings for a few minutes now, and the 2 3-mans kind of fighting around them.
Yeah, we were actually tapped in, or I was tapped into Kidzo's perspective, and he didn't see AFI's heads kind of peeking over the ridge. He was so locked in on Torch, which, you know, you do. There's only so many things you can look at. So they actually showed themselves a few times. He didn't see it and then got tagged from the side. A big loss because he was kind of holding down this area. Now AFI can hang here, but they have the shorter side of the circle. Most of it is actually come towards the building on the opposite side. So I'm really curious how much Torch will go after AFI here. The window now is a dangerous place. Tick kind of peeking in. Wiz watching the stairs with a DBS. Nobody's coming to the stairs, though. They're just a little paranoid, obviously. Prodigy staying in the building.
This is phase 8, Blitz. So we got phase 9 coming next. We can kind of already tell where this is going to circle up here. And a great knock from Omerta with the AUG. Straight headshots onto Tick now. I'm not sure they're going to really consider pushing this building. It's not necessarily the best situation unless you just kind of blind fire and looking for these kills, which I know AFI wants the kills. But if you're going to run into a man with the DBS, it's a nice nade from Omerta.
Wow.
Knew exactly where to put it. Now we've got a clean 3-on-3 here, Blitz. Who do you think's taking this one home, AFI or Vigorous?
I'm going to still stick with my pick of Vigorous here, but obviously AFI, they're on a roll. They have 14 kills to Vigorous's 8 right now. AFI has been fragging out. They're warmed up. They've been playing very well today, so they definitely could take this.
They really have.
But I'm going to stick with Vigorous for this game. They were my pick here. So curious how this is going to play out. We got Hobie, I think, made it upstairs, Stento.
Is kind of doing a nice little window lean peek, which is basically center dot. So he's got the centermost zone here. Wow, but a good stun is actually gonna land on him, but he's just hanging out in the windowsill here. So some good nades. That was kind of interesting to see him actually almost fall out of that location that he's got because of the stun.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think there's any other way to check the windows and get on this roof to the side here. Prodigy kind of moving around. I wonder if he'll get in underneath. That car is going to try to make it a little bit harder for him to maneuver there. This is such a nasty ridge, Stento, that it could be anybody's game, right? Moving around this ridge. It's just who sees each other first.
Yeah, I've got a nice view from like the northern side above, just kind of watching everything from the outside here. And again, you just wonder who's gonna
Hobie hopped out.
Hobie with the shoddy. Prod equals the stakes there with the ace there. So one down for each side. It is now a 2v2. Ghosted and Prodigy versus Light and Omerta, and they're both hugging onto the building. They're gonna get forced out of that location in a second here. They're gonna try to use the stuns on both sides to their advantage. And a little bit of a double challenge here. Unfortunately, Omerta went around.
I think he tried to go through and make a flank, but it just wasn't worth the risk there. Ghosted down to 2v1 situation. Prod trying to make it happen, and Vigorous comes out victorious with 11 kills in our 4th game of the night on Miramar. Great dub for Vigorous. They were even talking about them for a while. I thought my pick wasn't going to pan out there, but they survived and made it happen. And nice first place again. 11 kills, AFI with a great game there, coming down with 14 kills, so they're stoked about that. Basically a win in their book. And Torch rounding out the top 3 with just 3 kills, but the placement is definitely going to help there. And I'll switch scenes here in just 1 second. Crazy game. So what did you think? Because you were asking me the questions there. What did you think of the end of that match?
Yeah, honestly, we watched, I think it was Crazy Mob try to push onto Vigorous there, and as you mentioned, Winner's Circle kind of saved their life from long range. We don't know if they would have lost that fight, but
yeah,
arguably saved their life with the team pushing them, kind of giving them not necessarily a free push, but giving them a lot of more time to figure out how they're going to get out of that kind of walled in compound that they were holding. And eventually they sent Kidzo out, and then 2 more out, and left Prod in the compound, who proved to be a huge pain for AFI as they tried to kind of get up the hill into that compound on their own. But such crazy fights went down in that compound that's where we were for basically the last 10 minutes of the game. And we saw Winner's Circle move in there. Abnormal kicked them out. Someone kicked Abnormal out. And people just kept replacing one another in that compound. So it was the best compound to be at, but it was where everyone went to die. So, again, like the last team that ended up pulling up there was kind of AFI, and Vigorous were able to kind of just hold on. So it was such a funny series of people just replacing one another in that compound. So, you know, you love to be in center zone in the best compound, but sometimes it's just like, it just doesn't work sometimes, you know, and that's why you see a lot of these more veteran teams play different strategies, play edge, not always try to force that center zone, because sometimes you're there and it doesn't even work out.
Such a great point, man. I feel like let's just leave it on that, because you really hit all the points there, that it's just not always the best spot to be in, and also just some great plays all around, and crazy ending with Omerta almost going into the blue. I thought he was going to make that crazy play where he comes behind him. Seems like he kind of second guessed it, maybe take too much damage. Might have been blocked off, who knows? And,
yeah.
And it was just a crazy ending. Really fun to watch, so I love that whole ending sequence. And just another fun game. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Game 5 back on Erangel, and then this will wrap up day 2. So thank you guys for sticking around. Again, we're having some issues with the scoreboard, but we'll get that sorted hopefully tomorrow for the next games, and we'll just do our best from here on out. So thank you guys. We'll head into our intermission. All right, welcome to our fifth and final game of the NA portion of day 2 of our NA versus EU showdown. Kind of a mouthful, but again, this is day 2 for our NA players, and then tomorrow we will be returning for another day of just NA to finish out our first week of the showdown. And then eventually we will be having the NA teams versus the EU teams actually showdown in the playoffs and in the finals. Thank you guys for hanging out today. Really appreciate a lot of the excitement and hype in the chat. A lot of people getting involved and kind of putting out all the teams that they're rooting for. Again, that was just a crazy end game, really entertaining. Just been a blast so far, and really all the games have been great. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it as well. Here for the final flight path, we have the plane going from Stalbert all the way down to Primor. So hopefully we're going to see a different kind of circle here, maybe Primor circle, maybe something in Stalbert. We've been getting a lot of eastern circles, and with this flight path, I think we're most likely going to get something to the west or to the north, which we haven't seen yet, and we'll pay attention if there's any action early on. A few teams close together, including Main Gaming and Vigorous, both looking at Ferry Pier for a drop.
Yeah, here we are with game 5. It was a pretty interesting plane path. Stalbert down to Primorsk, so a good amount of the map is wide open here, but first circle is heading far up to the north, almost centering on Severny, so there's going to be a lot of water in play that will eventually get pulled off of that north side, but it's tough to tell exactly when in these early rounds. So you're going to see a couple teams pretty happy with their drops right now, Torch and the Toxic Lady Lasers mainly. And as always, that water in the middle with the river coming out of the George Pool is a very interesting obstacle to watch these teams try to maneuver around. So we'll keep an eye on these early game rotations here in match 5 of the evening. As Blitz said, we're very happy to be here tonight for this event. The NA versus EU showdown has been a lot of work putting in behind the scenes. So just a massive shout out to excuse me, the team we have going on here. A lot of people building our website, putting graphics together, organizing, moderating all the events. So there's countless hours being put in. So a massive shout out to all the Main Gaming team and people doing things behind the scenes. You know, we can't really do any of this without you guys. So just super proud to be a part of this team, and just excited to continue to improve these productions for you guys who are out there watching tonight. So thank you for watching. We're excited to get this match 5 underway. As Blitz said, we'll be back tomorrow only for NA at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. The NA side is a little bit bigger than the EU side. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for NA, just Monday, Tuesday for EU for the next 3 weeks. A lot of action coming your way here. And on board with Notorious, or excuse me, PI here, and he's kind of rotating on a bike. He just got by one member of Torch, but he's kind of going directly towards the other 3 who have staked out just kind of a crazy split here. As you see on your mini map, he's going to get a little bit closer towards Precision here at the plane crash, potentially going to scout this for the squad. He does roll by that plane crash, so narrowly dodging several different areas here, and he's going to kind of take the top of the hill and see what he sees here, but he needs to be very careful because there's several Torch members kind of in the vicinity here.
Yeah, little does he know they're split pretty much everywhere, but he's doing a good job scouting for his team. I mean, sometimes you know as your scout that you're going to get taken out. You're just trying to figure out a best spot for your team, and this is smart because there are so many people in the area, and I think he's alerted now that Tix is solo there in the car, that there's some people kind of lurking about. Tix actually coming this way. He hopped out of the car. He must have saw Notorious there, or maybe heard the bike. That Torch is looking to kind of swarm, and as I was looking at the menu, Tick immediately headed Notorious there. He's got to be a little frustrated that happened so soon, and now not sure if PI is going to think it's worth it to crash this, and they might pull off. Molotov is pretty far back there. They are going to grab this compound, though, below Torch, but who knows how much loot they really have to fight. Team at Molotov going over the bridge. Will he be okay passing GE here? They got a tire, almost spun out. Nope, finally does spin out, doing a 360. Not going to be able to go forward and gets taken out by Solar. We caught that just in time. Unfortunate there.
Blitz, I'm gonna take a second here. I might be able to fix the scoreboard on my own right now, so I'm gonna dial into that. So you focus on this, and I'll let you know an update in a minute or two here.
Absolutely, take your time. Let's try to get that figured out for people just tuning in. We had a little bit of an error with the T-Wire section, so if you've been wondering who's in the lead, we'd love to tell you. CK was in the lead going into today.
I'll be able to figure it out in a second. I was just alerted on how to do it.
Awesome, that sounds good. So we'll be able to find out, which will be exciting to see. Obviously, we won't have that last game. If you haven't watched the competitive play, it takes a little while for these leaderboards to update. Usually about like halfway through the game or a quarter into the game, the leaderboards will update. So unfortunately, we don't have the stats as soon as the match ends. It's just the way it is, though. But normally, you can kind of see where things are going towards the end of the night. And again, this is going to be a 3-week regular season, so we have some time. It's not like today is the end all be all, but really teams need to start thinking about where they're going to be placed and what points they're getting, because you want to be close to that top 8 to make it in to the playoffs and in the finals. And also there is a prize pool for the regular season, which is pretty helpful. I'm just going to show you guys that right now as a reminder for people that might be tuning in for the end of the night here. Regular season prize pool, $1,000 for the top 4 teams from each section, and then an additional $4,000 once we get into the finals for the top 5 teams. We just saw one of the toxic lady lasers get a MK, and a lot of teams rotating. Torch now on a rotation towards Severny. Thought we were going to see a crash there at that compound outside of Severny, but not yet. Just a lot of shots, and Rico's Roughnecks kind of shooting off, flexing out Torch, so now they really don't have a place to go. They might temporarily take this shelter position. A lot of teams right now split up and kind of confused on their rotations. Just want to point out that Main Gaming decided to leave Fairy Pier and Vigorous alone and went and looted the military base, but now they have a really long rotation unless they have a pickup. Tick's car here has just been beat up from both directions. Finally about to get busted here. I think Tick is going to try to bring the car in. Super risky maneuver. Recently, we saw a team, Stento and I, in one of the weeklies get locked in here from an enemy team blowing up the vehicle. So I feel like they should just regroup and then get out of here and find a better spot personally, but we'll see how it plays out for them. Vigorous and Winter Circle kind of oddly playing back. We'll tap into Dub Hub because they just got a knock on CK across the way and they have PI in front of them. Cheech has made it into the compound. Doesn't have any lethals. Gonna shoot the door. Dilla has made it to the second floor, so now PI needs to be really careful where they peek. Nade coming in from Brody and from Dilla. Brody's gonna get the knock and actually head up by himself. Probably be better if he stacked the door here, pre-fired that door to make sure he didn't go down, but he needs help from a teammate. And Cheech is going to come in and help him out there. They don't lose any members. Very close, though, for Brody. Smart kind of pre-fire on that door, just in case they came through.
All right, Blitz, if we do want to take a short break and check out the leaderboard screen, it is perfectly updated. We can see what is going on through the first days through what has now been 9 completed matches for 8 of these teams.
Let's see if it's working out. It looks like we have a lot of different stats here. It's showing AFI in the lead, if that's what you're seeing on your side, with 106 points. Console Killers in second. 7 Kings, who played yesterday, in third. Toxic, who played yesterday, in fourth. Vigorous in fifth. Torch in sixth. Winter Circle in seventh. And Ascension Esports in 8th. This does seem to make sense because Vigorous, after that big win, moving their way up. Affinity has played both days and been playing really well, so it makes sense that they're on top with CK. CK's had more of a quiet day today. Anything else you want to add to this, Sento?
CK definitely had a quiet day today. It might look a little bit top heavy right now, but it's important to remember that a lot of these teams have only played 4 matches. Some have played 5, and the teams on the top there, Affinity and Console Killers, have played 9, almost 10 matches. So by the end of the day tomorrow, all 24 teams will have played 10 matches, and we'll have a real good idea by the end of Wednesday of what we're really looking at going into week 2.
Yeah, really, it's going to be helpful to tune in tomorrow and see after the end of that where everybody stands, and then we'll post the results after Wednesday night, maybe on Thursday morning, so people can see what's going on. And right now, as we get back to the game, I'm seeing Winner Circle do another parachute. Sometimes I get lost trying to find these guys parachuting over. Just such a new dynamic. Something that, to me, I know some people are against this, but it's still kind of fun dynamic in the comp scene. Ascension is right below Kofry here. Shots coming in. Kofry gets spotted. Winner Circle didn't seem to really have an end game here, or maybe it was already taken, so this is going to look to be kind of a failed attempt because now they're split up. Jolly didn't even get on the pickup, and now they're split. AFI, I think, is landing on GE, and I don't know if they know. They finally realized. Red Eye now looking up in the sky, takes out Light, insta-dies there. 2 members making it onto the roof, 3 onto the same roof. Hobie hops down.
Oh my gosh.
And Red Eye gonna go down here. I'm gonna tap into AFI's perspective. There are current leaders, and they have more of a sight line here. They got the trade 2 members down now, so 3v2 situation. Light's got to be frustrated, though, that he got taken out there. Another one goes down for GE, and just 1 remaining. This is musty.
This is just another sign of this new dynamic of the airdrops, because this is literally probably one of the most strong compounds in this zone right now, and there's nothing you can do if people are gonna 4-man drop on your roofs, right?
Yeah, you exactly, Sento. This is
you
a
gotta
really
be
tough...
ready to take them out mid-air, and if you don't get them out of the air, they have got roof peaks on you, and that's what happened when AFI hit the roofs. They don't miss their shots. So GE unfortunately wasn't able to drop all these players out of the sky. I think they got 1, as you said, which is decent, but again, not near enough with AFI on those roofs. They were able to stay as a 3-man and get those wipes pretty quickly.
Totally. Especially, there's also a strategy to airdropping. Like, if you hit your parachute early and kind of float far away, people might not even heard the plane. They didn't hear your parachute pull. Right? If you wait till last minute, people hear that parachute and then they know that you're above them. So they kind of came in a little sneaky. There was a little bit of a James Bond move for AFI. And I feel like AFI loves these circles. We've seen them win out so many games here back in the day, and they're going to be really happy.
Blitz, look at that shift.
Unbelievable shift. And honestly, Vigorous is going to be pretty happy here. How do they play this, though, is the question. Do they kind of send somebody to that middle island, do a 2-2 split, keep somebody behind them to cover? They might want somebody on that middle island.
Oh, I've been waiting for this blitz. This is my famous line here. This river in the center here is considered a body of water that phase 4 will shift away from. So we're currently in phase 3. When we see phase 4, this is going to have to pull away from this water in one of these directions. So I think it's going to go north, just because of the majority of the zone is slightly favoring the north side there. But I just wanted to point that out. Phase 4, it's basically considered, like an edge of the zone.
Yeah, great point there, Stento. It'll be exciting to see. A lot of teams are going to be on this north side, though. So if it does go south, it would be crazy. I mean, Ruins is now in. I don't know if anyone's going to really rotate all the way to Ruins at this point. That'd be pretty risky for most of these teams. Main Gaming might look to do a southern rotation now, because a lot of the entry point is kind of blocked. AE, Ascension Esports, is doing a rotation. We'll see where they end up on the west side. Crazy Mob getting pretty close to Winner Circle here. If Bliv looks to the side, Shanks is completely in the open. They did their pickup and then don't have a vehicle over there, I'm guessing. So that's a big issue for Bougie and Shanks. They're going to be in a really, really, really tough spot. TLL's also on a pickup right now, going over the center of the map.
Unfortunately, it's only Crazy. The rest of the squad got into a little bit of a scrap at shooting range, and I'm not sure how early Crazy got out of there. But the rest of the team, unfortunately, ate some nades and Molotovs. I think.
Saw that Molly pop up. So yeah, as I was saying that, but yeah, it's just Crazy here. Got into a shed, locked the door, and is now just going to be texting for the remaining of the match. No, I'm kidding, but they're going to be hanging out there, waiting. But they are dead center, which is a good thing. Vigorous spotted main game trying to rotate. They just got a care package coming down. They're going to be pretty happy about this. See if we can take a look. It's a P90, which isn't great for this zone, but the level 3 gear, and I don't know about you, Sento. I'm taking the P90 no matter what, though.
Yeah, I can't really understand how it went from 250 bullets down to 200, because I guess in a tournament it's a little different, because you know, taking a fight is going to happen less often than, you know, running around all crazy in a casual 100-person lobby. But it really just feels like that ammo, it runs out too quick. You can't really spray at anything. You can't pick up any more off the ground. So it's just I love that gun so much, but it's just such a pain. And as I said, phase 4 is forced to shift off of this water, so it goes drastically to the north. It didn't really look like many of these teams are kind of aware that phase 4 is going to require that shift off of this river, as if it's a coastal water area.
No, you're right, Stento.
They'll have to take a couple of Stento competitive lessons here.
So SSG took the pickup. So many pickups just happened right here. SSG took a pickup and went to ruins, and now they have to go across the water. So they're definitely kicking themselves here by committing to that. Now Winter Circle's taking their second pickup. They found another one. They were screwed without that vehicle. MG started rotating south and now has to watch out for Vigorous, so they're in a tough spot. This is just becoming disastrous for all these teams that tried to make that risky play going to the south side and now are paying for it.
Yeah, this is super nutty. I'm actually looking at my map right now, and this SS, MG is wrapping back to the south, Vig, WC, just 4 teams that need to kind of push from the south side into zone here. And there's already a couple like broken teams in there, for instance, Crazy for TLL. So this was a really interesting zone, and it didn't really look like a lot of these teams were anticipating the northern shift here.
No, not at all. I'm actually going to tune into Acid Burn because I want to see where they're going to rotate right now. Actually, Ernster's pretty far back. We'll stay. There's just so much happening here, so much rotating. I'm going to try to stay in aerial view. Looks like main gaming is going to go wide, but anywhere they want to go, it's going to be met with some blocks here. Torch just got out. I'm not sure what their plan is to maybe cross the water on foot, but SSG and Vigorous are there, as we know. Acid Burn is getting ready to take this bridge, Stento. I'll tap into AE and see how this goes. They're currently watching Torch. They think they know that MG's going over the bridge. Are they ready to get any shots? They might be too below the bridge right now to even do anything, so... Oh, FNX went into the water.
There is nothing FNX is going to be able to do from this position. I don't really think he had any idea that anyone was there. A couple of them have jumped into the water. And the rest of MG is going to keep going here. So I think FNX is got little.
Oh, we got to tap into
choice.
Vigorous here. Yeah, that was crazy. FNX is kind of screwed there, getting blocked out. Kidzo's down. Prodigy gets the kill onto SSG. 1 member still remains, I think, Hots. No, 2 members still up for SSG. Soup actually showing himself there with the Groza against Stiffy. Ghosted's going to go for the res. Prodigy trying to defend now against Hots. Gets a nice peek around the tree. Beautifully done there. And then Shanks takes out Soup, and Ghosted can kind of recuperate here a little bit, but they're going to be down 1 man. Prodigy with the amazing DMR shots earlier. More great shots, but doesn't get the knock there. And Ernster with a big flank from the back of Prodigy. Nice red dot spray across the way there. But now they've lost 2 members. Vigorous, the winners of game 4.
The voice is starting to fail us at this moment in the evening, but 20 minutes have passed now, Blitz. Only 20 teams alive and 27 players in this final match. Kind of a crazy zone here, and I'm curious what's going on with AFI and AE down here. A big skirmish happening at this very popular compound. Lodi's going to start it off with a knock, and T-Bug is there for the trade. And so is Omerta, and it's going to be Omerta that really comes in for the 2 kills over the top and kind of saves it for his squad. They are going to lose the Lodi here, but 8 kills already, mainly at the hands of Omerta, who's got 5.
Yeah, AFI. A lot of teams getting shredded right now. Crazy Mob in a fight. We're on to problems here. Ran out of ammo. Dub still 4 strong with so many teams getting eliminated. And absolutely Stento after back-to-back days in casting. Time for some tea and some talking. A lot of words per minute during these events that we got going on.
Absolutely. I'm gonna once again sleep very well, but the Dub Hub's been hanging out on the north side of this hill for some time, and finally Zone's gonna kind of push them down here, and they're starting to frag out at the hands of the Crazy Mob here. It's gonna be just drop a left. We've seen him kind of be the last member alive a couple times tonight, and Dilla is gonna take him down with the AK there. So Dub Hub with a big spread along the northern side here. Potentially the only team that really had any idea that this was where this circle was going to shift here, but everyone else is kind of cluttered by the bridge now, Blitz.
Yeah, bottom bridge becoming the main spot here. Vig in the water. Torch to the left. Kind of haven't talked about CK this match.
They came on so strong yesterday, and even in maybe match 1 of today, well, we were expecting them to kind of continue it. And of course, they're doing very well in this tournament. But yeah, a lot of the heavy lifting was done yesterday for this squad.
Torch is 4 strong, which is super helpful for them. Running into AFI Muerta. Hobie's across the street. They're going to get this flush. So this is going to be tough for AFI to continue. We're down to 6 teams, 5 teams. As I say that, with Ghosted being eliminated, Vigorous finally goes down. Now ABN, Abnormal Gaming, the winners of our first match. Fighting with CK are previous winners of the, or they were previously leading the whole event. This is looking more and more like it's going to be a 4v4 with Torch and Dub Hub here, Stento.
Hobie goes down. Gonna go out in 5th place. That's our first place team right now out. And finally, our final 4 teams here. And as you said, Dub Hub 4-man, Torch 4-man, and a lot of broken teams. That's going to be CK and ABN Abnormal on this cliff side here.
Yeah, as I mentioned, we've been waiting to see Dub Hub have a great game here. And this could be it. Picking up more and more kills here from CK. All these knocks. Pixel's the last one left. Also, there's a care package coming down right above the Dub Hub. So they're going to get a refreshment here of some gear and a Groza, which is perfect in this situation. As soon as you get the Groza in your hands, I mean, how much more confident do you feel in those AR sprays? Just take down people so quickly. At least for me, I'm a big fan of that weapon.
Yeah, I think it's probably my favorite AR right now. I love the MK as well, just as a care package weapon. I think those are my 2 favorites, but you gotta love the Groza. Oh my gosh, some great shots out of the AUG of Karm there. Takes down Wabaku. They're gonna be able to get the res there, and meanwhile, there's another fight, long range knock onto the final member of CK there, so they're gonna be out in 4th place. That was the Dub Hub picking up that kill. They get back to 4 strong here, Blitz, as the push begins to come here from Abnormal on the low side. Brody is ready for it. Does he know there's 2 players there? Yes, he does. He's kind of backing off a little bit, perhaps to change scopes or to relocate. Tony has jumped into the water. I love the Michael Phelps flank that's going on here. I'm not sure they expect it at all. They don't really know that Tony has gone down to this side. He's trying to get his footing on the cliff here. He's working his way up.
Oh, so close. Was just right over the shoulder of Wabaku.
Just as you
there.
predicted, Blitz, a 4-on-4 versus the Dub Hub and Torch, who have taken no time wasted to kind of push up into the zone. But Cheech says you're not pushing up anywhere, drops one of their members. Tick goes down to that AUG spray, 10 kills already for this squad. They've had way too quiet of an event so far through 2 days. So here is a little bit of an eruption waiting to happen, Blitz.
Yeah, precision is playing such a big role here. I don't know why he hasn't fired yet. Not sure if he's running out of ammo on a 7s with the SLR, but he's kind of stopping or has the ability to stop this push from the Dub Hub, who could have got really aggressive there. He's got a great sight. He just can't get knocked right now. He needs to watch his peaks, do some quick shooting, but no SLR shots from him, so maybe he's out of 7s. I'm not sure. Maybe he just wanted to go with the spray. But yeah, we are down to that 4v4. But again, Dubhub just got a fresh level 3 gear and that Groza. Torch does have more of the circle here. What are you thinking, Stento? Big knock from Dilla with the Groza there. But Dilla with Wiz with the trade.
Oh my gosh, some great long range shots from Cheech. Headshot onto precision, and that was kind of like their biggest X factor in this fight. Precision was the furthest north and way on the side, had a really good angle on these Dub Hub players, but some good shots out of the Groza of Dilla and some long range plays from Cheech. But this is not over yet. This is still a very interesting fight here, and we know Wiz can shoot. He's taken out several players, but Brody got a good flank, and it's just one player up until the Dub Hub is screaming chicken dinner, and Wabaku is trying to find OH down the hill. And this is going to be a big one for them. They're going to get 12, 13, maybe 14 kills by the end of this here, and it's going to be just OH down on the low side. Up to him to kind of put together a 1v4 situation. He's got a nice ridge to maybe do it though, Blitz.
This is a pretty nasty ridge, but he's got to get up to get a sight line, and he looked the wrong way. They were already all the way to his left side there, was not aware of where they were. And Dub Hub entering in their name for another team getting a dub so far, which you love to see. I mentioned this before, so sorry to repeat myself, but I love the parity so far in the competition. So many teams getting a dub here, and it will be exciting to see, again, after tomorrow, where all these teams lie. Dub Hub in first here. Torch in second with 4 total kills, and ABN in third with only 2 kills. It seemed like they did so much more than that, but just ending up with 2 kills there, and CK and AFI rounding out the top 5. We're going to throw it back one more time here to the post game. Me and Stento, what's up? A lot of talking today. Throat is definitely
oh yeah,
not holding up as great. I've been dealing with some issues outside of just talking, and then obviously all the talking for hours and hours on end, but it's it's worth it. It's been a lot of fun. It's not so bad. So any kind of thing you want to end on here, Stento, for that last match? It was an interesting one, interesting circle there for sure.
No, good to see the Dub Hub get it cooking, man. Those are a lot of veteran players on that team there. A little bit of a new roster for the Dub Hub, however. But again, good to see them get it cooking there with a nice win. That's gonna just as it did for a couple of other teams, jump them right back probably onto the left side of the leaderboard. But we'll have to wait till tomorrow to get a really good scope of where these teams lie after 10 matches each. As you take a look at this is through 9 matches for some, 5 matches for some, and 4 matches for some. Our 3 group dynamic is that we play 2 groups a day on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So basically, each team is going to play 10 matches a week for 3 weeks, totaling a 30-game regular season for just about every team here. And so lots more PUBG to be played. We're almost 1/3 of the way through the regular season. And again, tomorrow will be a really good, much easier for us to kind of determine which teams lie where. But one thing's for certain, we got a couple teams hanging out up top and playing some really good, consistent PUBG.
Yeah, for sure. And again, just great to see some other teams get the dub there. Vigorous Dub Hub, really happy to see that. And because you just want to see a good competition with a lot of teams in it to win it. And it's going to be tough to narrow down, for both EU and NA, but especially for NA with the extra teams, it's going to be really crazy narrowing it down to 9 at the end of this whole event. So again, we hope you guys stick around to check out a lot of the action. We'll be live again tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, same time, same place here on my channel. So we hope to see you guys there to round this out. And have a great evening, everybody. Anything else, Stento?
No, just a big thank you to everyone watching. We'll be back here 8 p.m. tomorrow, just as Blitz said. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your nights.
Yep, GG's, everybody. Take care.